Love your hair. Wish I had some hair. No, but I walk in today. I'm giving my greetings and everything else.
Salutations.
Salutations. Michelle's in there. Elijah, I peeked my head in there and said, what's up to him? He's in the other room getting his stuff together, getting his zen together because he's in a dark room. So come in, talk to Michelle. Her and I are talking. Then our show goes off. I come in the room, and then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see this handsome guy walking toward me. And it is the one and only Chase McKay. Big Chaz, the suit, whatever you want to call him today. But I'm calling him. I know this name is already out there and it's taken. But for today, Big Chase is Big Swagoo.
Well, he's probably got on a tux because he's heading to Vegas too.
Listen, boy, he walked in here, man. He was clean cut. He on his button up. Mm-hmm. He on his Levi's and his Chuck Taylors. Whoa, he was looking good.
He's ready for the strip.
Hey, Chase. Hey, Darren, if you would have saw him, woo-hoo-hoo, you'd have wanted his gear. I'm telling you. Chase was looking swagged out today, boy. As my son would say, he was dripping. Just dripping. You walk up to Chase, it's just like, don't even touch him. That's how he looks.
On fire?
He's more than on fire. It's just like, it's just one of those things where he walk in the room, everybody stops and looks.
Well, you know what that's like. You've had that happen many times in your life, so you know that feeling.
That's his name, Swagoo today. I know
you know what it looks like.
Yeah. So that's why I'm pointing it out.
Yeah, I was going to say Swagoo's on television.
Yeah.
He played at LSU.
I know, but Chase today, if you saw him, Chase needs to take a picture and put it on Instagram or something. But, boy, his phone would be blowing up if he did that.
It's called a thirst trap.
Swipe right.
A thirst trap.
I didn't say that.
Where in the world? Oh, my gosh.
Ooh, Willie, you thought you were looking good the other day with your suit on and everything? Chase got you beat by 10 miles. He's looking good today, boy.
That is quite impressive. That is quite impressive.
Hey, I got to give it up, man,
I'm just going to have to warn everybody in Vegas.
Yeah.
This is coming.
Vegas does not know what they're in for. Telling you. He might even take a private jet out there.
Could be. You never know. You never know. So, as you mentioned, D-Mace, at the beginning, not a good night for the Predators. They've been on a roll, but last night ran into a buzzsaw at the Crypt, as Linda Cohn told us yesterday, right? The Crypt, Crypto.com Arena. Still weird to say. It's always been the Staples Center for a long time.
I'm going to call it the Staples Center.
Well, you should know. You've been in there.
Yeah,
I know you have.
Staple.
I know you've watched Lakers games at the Staples Center. Yeah.
I sent Derek a picture of the Lakers locker room, remember?
Yes.
Security came, saw me.
They almost arrested you. Hey, what are you doing?
Said, we
I'm
got
sending a picture to D-Mace.
Everywhere.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I really should not have been in there. I just went great lengths. I went to great lengths. I followed the maintenance guy in there, just taking a couple pictures, and I walked out, and the security guy goes, we got cameras everywhere, right? I kept waiting for the head honcho to come down and go, sir, can you come with me, please?
Give me your phone.
Could you step in this office, if you don't mind? Shut the door, please.
Oh, man.
We need to chat. What are you doing? The heck are you doing?
It was right there.
Hey.
It was just right there. I was like, well, I'm standing right here. I'll just go right in there.
So do you think that has to be and I've never experienced it because our game is totally different from hockey and baseball and basketball. But that it's sort of like this West Coast swing. Do you just think it finally caught up with them? Because that was just uncharacteristic of a Preds team, especially how they've been playing as of lately.
Yeah, and I would also say on paper, you looked at the Kings lineup, they were missing a lot of guys, but I think it's a tribute to the depth and the youth that the Kings have. They've got some up-and-coming guys that were showcasing last night that down the road, the Kings are going to be tough to handle for sure.
Byfield, for sure.
Quentin Byfield is going to be a star. He's going to be a star.
19.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is going to be awesome.
What is he, about 6'5"? He's huge, isn't he?
He's very big, but he can move. He can really move for a guy his size. Like a chance to be like freakishly good, I think. But and then this Rasmus Kupari skating alongside of him had a great game. So he's the first. That's the first time I've seen him really get to that level. But for the Predators, you know, this is what John Hines has been talking about, the ups and downs that you have to try to avoid here recently. You know, the Flyers game, not so good. The Maple Leafs game, really, really good last Saturday. Took care of business against Anaheim, even though maybe it wasn't their best game, and then reverted back last night with a very poor first period where they got cashed in on. You know, they played some poor first periods where UC Saros kept it 1-0. And if they even keep it 2-0, I really thought they had a chance to get back in the game. But 3-0, they got it to 3-1, had some chances, controlled the game some in the second period, and then just, you know, it's just hard to come back every time when you're down 3-0 like that. But, you know, I don't want to make excuses, but of course, they lost Dante Fabro before the game. He couldn't play. Matthias Ekholm flew all day yesterday to get to the rink, jump in there and play. They lost Mark Borowiecki to a really scary-looking play. We don't know what his prognosis is.
Well, honestly, I was surprised for John Hines to be pretty quick to say he's okay. I was like, okay, that's good. I mean, I
hope he's all right. That didn't look good,
that did not look good at all.
But, you know, in the short term, they didn't have him the rest of the game. So that didn't help. I mean, playing on back-to-back nights, the Kings were more rested. But all that being said, this is the NHL. This is, you know, these are the circumstances sometimes, and you have to do better. And they didn't.
Yeah, they're going to have to be better.
Mistakes, right?
Well, the first period on the road has just not been their friend here of late. The first periods have just not been good. Their starts have not been good. They were able to overcome it in Anaheim, weren't able to do it, even though they actually were able to overcome it in Philadelphia and come back and take the lead. But in the end, lost last night. It just got away. Just one of those games that got away. I mean, L.A. looked like a really, really young and hungry team. I mean, that team's decimated with injuries. They got lots of injuries.
They were quicker, faster, hungrier last night. That usually means a win. If you're quicker, faster, and hungrier, you usually win, even if you got guys hurt.
Yeah. In the NHL, yeah, because that's what the Predators have done to a lot of teams this year, right? So they know that ingredient. They know how that works, and it was just one of those nights. I mean, it happens. We talked about the ebbs and flows. We've talked about it for years and years and years. Like, everybody wants it to look a certain way for 82 games. But, again, just like us, just like anybody out there listening, just like professional athletes, no matter what you do, you're still a human being. Whether you've got a corner office, whether you've got a big title, whether you've got a big salary, it doesn't matter. You're a human being, and, you know, things happen, and it's not easy to stay at a certain level. Derek did it for 16 years. I think that's what's impressive about him. Whether, you know, he would know it better than anybody, but just as an observer, it looks like he stayed like at a certain level consistency-wise his entire career. I'm sure he had off weeks. I'm sure over the course of his career, there was just a Sunday, man, he just wasn't in it, or he wasn't feeling good, or, you know, I mean, something was going on at home, or whatever. He's, you know, his agent called him and gave him, you know, not a great update, and that affects people. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying every team goes through that. I mean, look, there are certain teams that do run with seasons, and so they don't have, you know, those dips. But, you know, the Predators are not equipped to be one of those teams that can just mow through everybody and finish with 122 points in a season, because typically those teams don't have the dips. But how many times do you see that in a season, right? How many times do you get those teams year in and year out? Not very often. So they'll have to pick themselves up and try to rebound, and it'll be interesting tomorrow night because Vegas got shut out in Winnipeg. They're spittering and sputtering, and you know, they don't look like a well-oiled machine either. And so, you know, they're coming off a shutout loss. The Predators are coming off losing 6-1. We'll see how they collide tomorrow night in Vegas. In fact, we'll continue that discussion on the other side because there are things to talk about. With the bodies going down, Bodies in the lineup, bodies not producing, bodies that are producing. We'll do that next. Plus, this hour we'll also get into a prominent wide receiver in the league that apparently this team has told his agent, yeah, you go seek a trade if you want. We'll discuss that as well. Lots coming this hour here on the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Meshing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robby and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at nashvillesc.com/22tix.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Nissan South. It's March, and you gotta ask yourself one question. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you? We hope you feel lucky, because we're handing out luck all month long in Newton. We have great deals in both our sales and service departments. We have deals on the cars, trucks, and SUVs you've been looking for. That's not all. We're going to give you top dollar for your trade, and we're going to give you a great deal on your next car. Essentially, save you money and make you money at the same time. Thomas Jefferson once said, "I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more of it I have." Well, at Newton, we're here ready to work hard for you to see if we're lucky enough to earn your business. Your luck can begin at home by starting your deal with Newton FastPass. Don't wait. Find your luck at NewtonNissanSouth.com. See website for details. No shame for the lame disclaim.
It was just so sparkly and just white. It's just the purest diamond.
That's Mallory Irvin, Miss America runner-up and 3-time contestant on The Amazing Race, talking about her ring from Genesis Diamonds.
It's my favorite thing I've ever owned in my life, and probably my favorite thing I ever will own unless I get another ring from Genesis.
Mallory has a stunning GIA-certified diamond in a setting that Genesis custom designed just for her.
It was a personalized experience, and they really went above and beyond to make what we wanted to work.
At Genesis, unique rings are our specialty.
What's really awesome about Genesis, I think a lot of girls look at other girls' rings a lot, and you don't want the same ring as the girl sitting beside on an airplane or something. It's really awesome because Genesis has the designers I feel that women want.
Names like Henry Dossi, Viraggio, Tocori, and dozens more.
So you don't get that cookie cutter kind of chain store. My ring is beautiful, but it looks like everyone else's. You get an engagement ring that's one of a kind.
Genesis diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
I highly recommend Genesis.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
They're going to be our jewelers for life.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back April 5th, and if you haven't been to Third and Home on game day, you're missing out. Third and Home is the newest sports bar in Germantown that overlooks the Nashville Sounds ballpark. From the bar's spacious beer patio, you can see the whole Sounds game as if you were sitting in the seats with a ticket. No wonder it's known as Germantown's bar with a ballpark. Head to 3rd Avenue North and check it out for lunch, a night of brews, or to catch a game. Third and Home is open Tuesday through Sunday. For more, visit thirdandhome.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Daunic, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
This is Colton Sissons, and this is Smashville.
Feeds now, Sissons coming on from the left circle, and Colton Sissons puts it in the net.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Interact with Darren, Daunic, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Back here on the DDC on this gorgeous Wednesday. Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and Derek Mason with you. Let's give something away, but you're going to have to earn it. Nothing's easy on this show. How about a pair of tickets to see My Chemical Romance at Bridgestone Arena on August 23rd? But you have to answer this question. Last night, L.A. had a shorthanded goal on the Predators. It happened in the first period. It was their third goal on the night. It was a shorty. That was their 7th shorthanded goal on the season. They're up near the top in the league with shorties, down a man and getting a goal. What I want to know from you is who is the best team in the league? They have 10 shorthanded goals. Who is the best team in the league right now with shorthanded goals? If you can correctly tell Elijah Campbell who that is at our Hillside Medical Game Studios on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com at 615-737-1025, you will win a pair of tickets to see My Chemical Romance at Bridgestone Arena on August 23rd. There you go. Told you you're going to have to work for it.
That's working hard.
It's not going to come easy.
Well, I would not get that right.
Yeah, me either.
I do not know the answer without looking it up. I would have to be Quicksilver on the keyboard and then try to call.
Well, it's taking the folks a while to Google. So once they've Googled and figured this out, we'll have fun with it in a little bit. All right, let's talk about some of the production the Predators are getting. By the way, David Riddick last night was in net for the Predators. They gave UC Saros the night off, of course, a back-to-back situation. I'm not so sure how much of it you can put on Riddick. The coach said it, players said it. It was a sloppy first, really sloppy overall game. They just were outworked in the game, and they fell. But the season that Roman Josi is having, and I know we've talked about it a lot. Everybody's talking about it. And, look, Cale Makar is having an unbelievable season on a great team this year as well. But what Roman Josi is on pace for, as that was game 64 last night. So game 65 will be, 18 more games to go? What he's on pace to do, he's basically in company with all guys that are in Toronto. That's the Hockey Hall of Fame. And, I'm not starting that discussion because he's got a lot of hockey to play and a lot more hockey, more resume building Roman Josi has to do. But what he's doing this season alone is pretty unbelievable. I mean, the pace he is on. It just every night it's just amazing to be a defenseman and to be that critical to basically everything you do. And, just when we thought we'd seen it all, the guy's already won the Norris. He's already gotten the big contract. He's been the captain. We know that. But just when you think, this is probably where he's going to hover for a good while. But, no, he's actually taken a step forward, and it's pretty impressive to see.
It is very impressive to see. I think right now there's a process that I always observe, and Chris Mason and I talk about this a lot, and, we can bring this up when he comes on with us at 1 o'clock, but there's a lot of times that when a guy like Cale Makar emerges on a powerful team like Colorado that was expected to be dominant, they are dominant, and he was dominant, all of a sudden, about 2 months into the season, it seems like they've handed the trophy mentally, a lot of the media, to Makar. But I think if you notice, if you really look at the numbers side by side, Roman Josi has the edge over him in a lot of key categories, not just the points, which he's got the lead on. Importance to his team, that's subjective, but also those underlying analytics. There's a lot of numbers that you might think off the top of your head, just perception, that Makar would have the edge, but it's actually Josi that has the edge. So that's what we spend time trying to do, and you try to do it without, being biased. That's why the numbers are important, because it takes the bias out. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Mace's word for it. Just look at the numbers. And then, of course, as you guys know, when you watch Roman Josi every night, he passes the eye test. It does incredible things every night. Last night, I was really admiring him. They're getting beat. He doesn't have his normal partner. It's a back-to-back night. It could have been an easy night for him to mail it in. But he was the guy, if you notice, taking the puck at the Kings, trying to create things. It wasn't their night. Nobody could make a play. To the Kings' credit, they always seem to be in the right place. Every time the Predators had possession in the offensive zone, looked like they were threatening. They just couldn't connect the dots and get quality chances, but it wasn't because Roman Josi wasn't creating stuff. He ended up playing I don't know how many minutes, way more minutes than you would probably think or probably want to in an ideal situation, but he wanted to be out there. He's a leader, so I do think he's the best right now. I am biased. I can't get around that, but I think sometimes he's even underappreciated.
Well, you had Boro go down at the beginning of the second period. Like you mentioned, Dante Fabro wasn't in there, so he didn't have his normal D partner. They're down to 5 defensemen basically over half the game. So, yeah, that's one where probably when it starts getting away, you'd like to back off some of your superstars, right? Like, what's the point? There's no reason to risk anything. But, one, he's the captain, and that's just not in his DNA. And two, they were down some bodies, and so, or at least a body. At that position, and so the shorter shifts or shorter rotation, so you had to still chew up minutes out there. Unfortunately,
28 minutes last night, unbelievable.
Yep. When you look at the standings and you look at where everybody is right now, this is a huge game, and I say that because I know we get in this habit down the stretch of this is a huge game. Yes, they're all huge, but when you consider where Vegas is in the standings. As I said, they've been sputtering around. A regulation win tomorrow night. I'm not willing to say, that they can't catch the Predators because there's still more hockey to be played. But Predators do have 2 games in hand on Vegas, and they're up 6 points on them. If you get a regulation win, now you're up 8 points with 2 games in hand with, 17 to go on your end, 15 to go on their end. It does seem a little bit more insurmountable, right? I mean, it seems like Vegas is in dangerous territory. So they're going to be desperate. They're looking at the standings. They're going to be talking the same thing. So I think it's setting up for a really interesting match.
A team that, as you pointed out, they're hurting. They got some injuries. They're trying to buy time while they get some of their best players back. Drew Doughty being the key guy, and then Victor Arvidsson, who's getting closer. He should be back for them very soon. He's had a good year for them. They're very happy with what he's brought them. That's a big win for them last night. Huge win. It gives them a little breathing room in the Pacific. Dallas last night is behind late against Edmonton. Finished with a flourish. Win in regulation. Big win for Dallas. Dallas has 2 games in hand on the Predators. They're only 5 points behind Nashville. So you cannot sit back and relax and say, we're okay, we're coasting, we got this. You cannot sit there and admire what you've done the night before. You have to keep pressing. You got to get to that 96, 98, 99 points to be sure you go in there. And as we mentioned yesterday a bunch of times, guys, you don't want to be in wild card 2. That's a playoff spot, but it's a date with Colorado, who is the dominant team in hockey. That's the toughest matchup. And hey, upsets happen, but that's not where you want to be. Vegas is now below the line. They got shut out last night by Winnipeg, who's still in it. Winnipeg, they didn't load up at the trading deadline or anything like that, but they're still lurking there. So it's going to be a race to the finish line. I'm with you, Darren. You're going to see a very desperate, hurting, wounded Vegas team tomorrow night.
Congratulations, Dylan Lassiter. Dylan correctly called in on our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com and told Elijah Campbell at our Hillside Medical Game studio that the answer was the next opponent for the Predators. Yes, the Vegas Golden Knights lead the league in shorties. So congratulations, wow. Dylan. And you got a pair of tickets to see My Chemical Romance.
Did he look it up?
At Stone.
Did he look it up?
Probably
That's what
so.
I want to know.
It's okay. I didn't say you couldn't look it up.
Yeah, it's not cheating.
It's an open book test.
Yes, absolutely.
It is. Those are my favorites. When we come back, a prominent receiver has been told, his agent has been told, you could seek a trade. And there's some teams interested. We'll tell you who they are. Plus, there's a text we need to read that concerns Elijah. And some maybe advice, or should I say bad advice. More coming here on the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robby and Rexrode, we talk with the legend, Terry Chris, about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, March 23rd, we're doing something special. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, shown by Cambridge to repair blood vessels and get rid of ED at its core. If you're ready to put a stop to your erectile dysfunction, call us now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 3 additional treatments to our patients free. This means that if you notice results fading, we'll retreat you free of charge. This is unprecedented and worth $1,000. Call today, Wednesday, March 23rd, and qualify free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Tonight,
Tyrese. The hook shot.
the 76ers head to Cali to take on the LA Lakers.
Beautiful feed. Westbrook to James.
Coverage begins at 8:30
On ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Thank you, Joey. Back here on the DDC. Right here at 102.5 The Game and 94.9. We are Nashville's official home of NASCAR. Vroom, vroom. Tune in Sunday, ESPN 94.9, 1:30 p.m. for the Echo Park Automotive Texas Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas. Set for the race with Chasing Checkers every Sunday at 8 a.m. right here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic is in Vegas. Derek Mason alongside. So let's start with our text line before we get into the prominent receiver, because Elijah will need to address what was put on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, where Griffin texted and says, will somebody please boo my friend Elijah for me?
Oh, wow.
He told me the Vols would absolutely beat Michigan. I trusted him. Now I'm going to be sending him a bill to replace my FanDuel loss. So, guys, all together now. 1, 2, 3. Boo! Elijah, boo.
Yeah.
If the loss is that bad, I highly recommend calling the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
You know what I was going to say? I'm reminded of the great line in Animal House where Boone and Otter look at Flounder after they wrecked his car, and they said, you bleeped up. You trusted us.
They trusted you, Elijah.
They did.
You can always say that it was Isaiah that did it.
That's
Elijah.
true.
That is true. Blame it on Isaiah.
Exactly.
Isaiah was feeling the Vols, and I will be sending you out his information shortly.
It's like the hashtag blame LeBron. Now we just have blame Elijah.
Exactly. There we go.
G Pander has a beef with me on Twitter. He said he's very disappointed. And you know that word. It's like, oh, man, disappointed you. I'm very disappointed in you, sir. You know the name of the show has changed to the DVC. Darren, Villy, and Chase.
Oh, boy.
Save that because we are going to talk about the tough loss last night.
Oh,
and
man, that was a bummer.
Xavier, I mean, just trolling Vanderbilt on Twitter. So we'll get into
Throwing
that,
shade.
Billy.
They threw some
okay?
shade.
They threw some shade, Billy, and we'll talk about that.
Can you throw shade in the NIT? Seriously?
They did.
Can you throw shade in the
They
NIT?
did.
Like,
The answer is yes, because they did it.
oh, my
They did it.
goodness. They should be ashamed of themselves. Gosh.
Can you throw shade
Oh, my
in the NIT? That's actually a very legit
great
question.
question.
All right,
Uh-huh.
we'll get into that very soon because I want Billy's thoughts on what happened last night. Apparently, people do too. In fact, I asked for Billy's thoughts last night in our group text and got crickets.
Crickets. Didn't
All
I
right.
was still stinging. Still stinging. And it was also as the horn sounded for that game, it was like 3-0 Kings at the time, too. I was like, great night. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, the timing wasn't great. All right, the Chiefs have given an agent permission to seek a trade after contract extension talks have broken down. They have stalled. That team, the Chiefs. Who are we talking about? Well, their prominent receiver would be, the one that's really fast, Tyreek Hill. And apparently the Dolphins and the Jets are interested, which if the Chiefs are really mad at Tyreek Hill, I don't know what's going on, they will send him to the Jets.
Absolutely.
Or the Dolphins, really. Either one. That would show the level of how mad they are. What do we make of that?
Well, I mean, he sees the money just flying out the door. He sees Brinks trucks are backing up to people's, homes, Devontae Adams, even though Deshaun Watson isn't, that's separate, but he sees, all of these, prominent players, big-time players getting these contracts. And, he's like, well, where's mine? Well, you signed one a couple of years ago, didn't you? You got to understand that if you did a deal 2 or 3 years ago, I think his deal was done 3 years ago. If I'm not mistaken, it was right after the 2018 season, and he signed this huge deal. Well, when you sign a deal like that, you got to know the money's going to get richer for those that are coming down the line. Yes, you are a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League, but Kansas City is not going to pay you the money that you believe you deserve, because all the money is at the quarterback position. They can't afford to pay you what you think and what you may deserve. It's just that's the way it is. You need to go talk to Mahomes and see if he would take a pay cut. I don't know why these guys don't realize this now. And this is why, I take my hat off to Tom Brady. He and Peyton Manning, besides Mac, he and Peyton Manning are the two guys that if I had to play with two, it would be those two, other than Mac, because Tom understood that the money is there and I can get it because I deserve it. But you know what's going to last longer? Those Super Bowl trophies that are up in my cabinet. Those are going to bring me way more money, like continued money, than what you can possibly pay me. These young quarterbacks don't realize after they get that big contract, then anything after that, you should try to put your team together to build your legacy. No one will ever I don't think anyone will catch Tom as far as winning championships. You know why? Because they care about getting paid. They're not trying to surround themselves. They look at it and say, it's y'all responsibility to surround people, put people around me. Give me my money. Tom didn't say it. Tom didn't think that. Tom said, listen, I can get the money if I want to, but then where does that leave us as a team? Then we're scrambling, trying to get guys in here to play. No, I could take a pay cut because I know I'll make that money on the back end somewhere. But we're going to win championships. And look at him now. Tom will make money forever. And we're not talking about football money. These other quarterbacks, no, they won't. And I don't know why they haven't figured that out. Mahomes has his team locked. They can't do much of anything. And they're going to lose their star receiver because of it.
So when you're in the last year of he's going into the last year of his contract. He's 28. This is always an issue, I think, for even the top.
By the way, he
top
just
players.
turned 28. So let's say that.
So you got to feel like you've still got your last few best seasons in you. I think you'd have to think that, right, with Tyreek Hill?
Oh, yeah, he still has at least a good 3 years left in him.
I think that's reasonable for sure. So I'm sure, just like every player who's at that, in a salary cap system where the money is not guaranteed, this is a big year. He's got a year left, so the Chiefs are probably thinking, you know what, we've got to ride this out. Or if we make an extension, it becomes very complicated because that Mahomes contract is so big and it's backloaded, right? They intentionally tried to keep the window as open as possible when he first signed that contract. But it's got to get tougher, right? They're paying him all this money. So you hit on it, D-Mace. That creates issues for the rest of the group. So I can see Tyreek Hill saying, hey, wait a minute. I'm one of the biggest reasons that this thing goes. Like, he's such a unique guy with his speed.
He opens everything up for everybody else.
I see the dilemma from both sides. So what do you do? But his choices are probably to take a little less, to stay with the Chiefs, or go to a bad team. We've seen both happen, right? Over the course of history in the salary cap era.
Sure. Absolutely. Apparently the Chiefs have been looking for 2 first-round picks in exchange for Tyreek Hill. Well, I got news for them. They're not getting it. No. And I know that the Raiders gave Davante Adams, or they gave the Packers a first and a second, a low first and I guess a low second. But Davante Adams is a year older. But you had the whole Davante Adams has been dreaming about playing. He's got the relationship with Carr. I guess apparently he's always wanted to play for the Raiders. I mean, there's all kinds of storylines with that. Honestly, they probably overpaid too, and they gave him the big, huge contract. The Chiefs are not getting 2 first-round picks for Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's a really, really, really good receiver. But here's the deal: what if he doesn't have Patrick Mahomes?
What is the Chiefs' offense? Well,
what is he going to look like?
Let's go the other way, though. Let's go the other way. What does that offense look like without him, without Tyreek Hill?
Well, that's a really good question.
I don't think they want to answer that.
Yeah, but Willie, but what do they have? What do they have that the Jets and Dolphins don't have?
A quarterback.
There's no question. They got
the quarterback, right? They've got the guy.
But let's not forget that they didn't look. They looked very ordinary for a good chunk of the season last year. They got it right at the end of the year, but they were not lighting up the scoreboard like they like they had been in previous years. It's Kelsey and it's Tyreek Hill. Now, they have a very creative offensive mind. Andy Reid is a brilliant offensive mind. But I'll tell you what, I feel like if I'm the defense and Tyreek Hill's not out there, I got a chance, at least a better chance. Like, how do you replace him?
If you don't, you can't. There's nobody, because I talk a lot about, listen, we can neutralize speed, and speed is not everything. And you're absolutely right, speed is not everything. But this guy is a good football player. He's a good route runner. He runs short routes. He runs deep routes. He's just not a deep threat guy. He does all the little things that they ask him to do. Sweeps, get hands. He does everything. And you know what that allows everybody else to do? It allows everybody else to get open. Because when he's going deep, when he's going vertical, guess who has to go with him? At least 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
And that opens up everything for everybody else underneath. And I'm sure Andy Reid understands that, but because of the quarterback, they can't pay him the money that maybe he deserves.
Yeah.
Do they beat the Bills without him last year in the playoffs? No way.
No. I agree. But there's, once again, if you have the guy, which they have, it seems like everything around him is a little bit more replaceable, even though everything you guys are saying is 100% spot on true. But you just have to go out and then you get another guy. I mean, Tyreek Hill is really, really good, but is he the only fast guy you can find?
He's the only fast guy that plays like him.
Okay.
Yes.
I think he's I'm with Derek. I think he's in a category of his own. I think he's that good.
So the Packers be looking for him since they lost Adams?
I don't think they can afford it.
Well,
and they're not willing to give up 2 firsts or a first and a second or a first and a third.
Well, they just got stuff from the Raiders, so I'm just saying they've got pieces. But you're right, they probably don't have the money to do that because I don't know what Tyreek Hill is looking for. Obviously he's looking for huge bucks.
I'm sure he's looking for somewhere
he wants to be the top level. Right?
He's not going to get paid what Devontae Adams got paid per year. Devontae gets what, 27.5, 28.
No, he's not going to get that.
He wants in the 20 range. Yep. I'm sure.
We'll come back and get Villy's response to what happened last night and what the Musketeers did on Twitter. It's pretty unbelievable. But first, he's going to tell you about Loan Pronto.
All right, let's talk Loan Pronto. Your home's value is way up, and you can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house or both. Just call the guys at Loan Pronto. They can help you with this. They can convert your home's equity into cash in as little as 2 weeks with no cost to you and zero hassle. Lots of people doing this. Here's the one couple I keep using as an example. Through Loan Pronto, they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. Got a check for $100,000 from their home's equity. They used $50,000 of it to pay off credit card bills and a car loan. Took the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. Simple formula, worked really well. So here's what they did going forward. They locked in a new APR in the 2s. They lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. So what are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now. Convert some of that home value into cash. Put that money to good use right now. And you do this now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
The Titans have been making additions.
The Titans have signed Austin Hooper to a 1-year, $6 million contract.
And subtractions.
So Julio Jones shown the door. Surprise, not surprise.
I'm not surprised. As free agency is well underway, what's next for the two-tone blue?
You're going to have to make some cuts, and you're going to have to move some money around.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies continue with us all day, and the wind's still kind of breezy, howling in out of the north. That's going to make it hard to warm up. Temperatures only going to the lower 60s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hal Gill here for my good friends at Dunkin'. You know I love Dunkin', and I'm wicked happy that Dunks is all over Nashville. A newly remodeled next-gen Dunkin' location is at 1645 West Main Street in Lebanon. Of course, Dunks has the best coffee, but they have new spring items available as well. Try the salted caramel cream cold brew, shamrock macchiato made with Irish cream swirl, and the roasted tomato toast with hummus or avocado. They also have amazing chocolate croissants. So go treat yourself, go get your Dunks.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free. Plus, a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
In a world where a single touch can threaten the surfaces of your home, there's Microban 24. Just one spray fights bacteria all day.
Bacteria incoming. Shields up, defenders.
When used as directed, Microban 24 sanitizing spray forms a defensive shield that keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch.
Threat eliminated.
Microban 24. Don't just sanitize it, microban it. Now spraying in a store near you.
Hey, you see Tony's face?
Yeah, he's using one of them Dollar Shave Club 6-blade razors with 6 stainless steel blades for a close shave.
His face is as smooth as a river rock. Smooth as a nice olive oil.
Like a bowling ball.
Like silk pajamas.
Like a seal down at the aquarium.
Like a ball of wax.
Wax job?
Hey, no one said nothing about a wax job, okay? Quit being a wise guy.
Dollar Shave Club. For a noticeably smooth shave. Find us in stores and at dollarshaveclub.com.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Daunic, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Did your brackets get busted? Mine did. Another chance for you to win some great prizes. 16-team Game Bracket Challenge. Go to theGameNashville.com/bracket challenge right now to play for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Shinedown Arena on May 4th. The Game Bracket Challenge is brought to you by Coach's Corner Sports Grill in Spring Hill, Days Delta 8, and Wager. Back here on the DDC.
Do over. That's what we need, right?
Yes.
Do over.
Yes, I am definitely in that camp for sure. A tough loss for Vanderbilt last night in the NIT against Xavier. That was their first road game in the NIT, and they go down by a bucket. That was a tough one. We've talked about it all season. What would it have really looked like? And I know you can't really play that game, but it is what it is. I mean, they played well down the stretch. They looked like a totally different team when they got bodies back in place, and they played tough last night. I know Scottie Pippen hit a three-pointer at the buzzer to make it a little bit closer. They lose 75-73 in the quarterfinals.
Oh, he missed a three that would have won it. In the
that's right. He missed the three to win it. Right, 70. I said that wrong.
And it was kind of a prayer. It wasn't a wide open look. It was tough. They actually made a steal in the inbounds play. The ball went out of bounds. They gave them, I think, exactly 1 second, but they were throwing the ball in from the dead corner, and it was hard to get the ball to somebody in position to do something. So. It was kind of a crazy finish. They had their chances.
They did. He had a huge night, by the way. 28 points, career high in rebounds, really 7 assists. I mean, was it because of Scottie Pippen Jr.?
No, he played really well. And now I think everybody's going to wonder, what does he do next?
Oh, well,
he's got a lot of options, of course. But I do think the feeling at the end of the season is still a pretty darn good feeling. They played a good. They were in position to win that game. It came down to the last couple of possessions. Jordan Wright, who's been playing really well for them, had a 1-and-1. He's their best free throw shooter. He missed the front end, down by 2. They still had a chance, like we said, with 1 second to make a 3 to win it or 2 to tie it. They've got some very good pieces coming back next year, but this is the issue with every college basketball team. Who's coming back? Who thinks the grass is greener on the other side? What about your incoming freshmen? It's like corralling a bunch of cats, a herd of cats, right? Every program. Now, what you want to do if you're Jerry Stackhouse is hope that you've built a strong foundation where this is a program that people want to stay. And I think that's getting there. Just think about it. And I thought, like last year, I was thinking if you get Pippen and Dylan Dessou back, you got a pretty good team. Dylan Dessou leaves. Dylan Dessou goes to Texas. By the end of the year, he's barely playing. So was that a good move for Dylan Dessou? I don't know. Ask Dylan Dessou. He was the leading rebounder in the SEC, averaging almost a double-double by the end of the year last year. He decides the grass is greener at Texas. So it's not always greener on the other side. The transfer portal is nuts. This is what's getting thrown out there now in college basketball. Hey, I'm Mr. NIL. It's like the Texas A&M. Remember the rant about sliced bread from Jimbo?
Mm-hmm.
So there's teams. Memphis might be one. Kentucky might be one. I'm sure every big program's got it. Hey, we got some NIL slush fund here. Scottie Pippen. Hey, Scottie, maybe you're not a clear first-round pick. You got a year left. You've got to be the man at Vanderbilt. Don't have the support. How about coming over here for 1 year? We got a little something for you. You can be the NIL man. You're Scottie's son. Just think about how that could work, for not just for Scottie Pippen, but for really any upperclassman.
Ball game's changing, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
But am I wrong? Like, college basketball might be the easiest one to just say, hey, it's like, you lose the pickup game on the asphalt at the local park. Your team loses. What does the next guy do? Hey, I got next. Hey, I saw you, Derek. You're a pretty good player. You want to play for my team? You just lost. But, hey, let's run it back. You run with my team. Like, remember, you ever go to that park where the next man up, he doesn't have his 5 ready. He can take any 5. I used to hate that rule because more people just sit. But the cutthroat is, look, I got to win the next game to stay on. So I'm going to pick the best players. I could pick the 4 guys from the last game that just lost, the 4 best players. That's how it is in college basketball right now. You have no control on a lot of guys leaving. But I do think Jerry Stackhouse is now a program that I think people are starting to get attracted to rather than, hey, Vanderbilt is a mess, nothing's going on there. I think he's finally built a foundation.
Well, if he can somehow, some way, which I don't think is going to happen, and I think it's the same with UT in regards to Chandler. If you can convince him to stay, meaning Scottie Pippen Jr., then yes, that will attract more recruits, or it will attract guys that are in the portal themselves trying to figure out where to go. And I'm pretty sure that Coach Stackhouse understands that, but this is this young man's decision. And, it's just unfortunate that, they started to play well once they got healthy. And I said this yesterday, and hindsight is 20/20, we all know. But what if this team was healthy? I think they would have been a March Madness team. I think they would have been in the tournament and not relegated to the NIT. But it didn't happen. They played well in NIT and they lost a close game. But now what do you do as a head coach when you know your best player is potentially leaving? You got him to stay last year. Can you do it again for another year?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different with him because of his background. He grew up with a superstar dad, and, they've had money. And, I think a lot of times decisions are made for them, right? Mm-hmm. As in, hey, our family needs money. And so if they're offering X, I need to do this for my family. Those situations do arise a lot in college, right? Mm-hmm. And he's not in that boat. I mean, he's been there 3 years. He's obviously very familiar with Jerry Stackhouse. I think that from all of our conversations with Jerry Stackhouse, their relationship is very good, or he would never have been there for 3 years already. I just think it's a unique situation, and I think, Willie, you raise a good point, but I just don't think it applies to this particular situation because I don't see that family being money motivated.
No,
right? I don't see them as that.
I'm not saying they are at all. But what I am throwing out there, though, is when you're trying to decide, and you're Scottie Pippen, he's such a unique player. He's not 6'7", 6'8", and a surefire first-round pick. Somebody's going to have to see something in him because he's almost unlike any other player I've ever seen, really, when you get down to it. Have you ever seen a guy as crafty, the way he uses his body to create contact, knife in there? How does that transfer to the NBA game? He's not an NBA three-point shooter. if you take a look. Not a great outside shooter. Can he guard people in the NBA? There's a lot of questions, which in my opinion, would make him not a first-round pick. He's going to have to work his way into the NBA. What's the best way to do that? Is it to come back here, to come back to Nashville, play another year of college, go to the G League? Are you willing to do that if you're like a second-round pick? And now you have the opportunity NIL-wise to maybe make some money to where it's not like, hey, I got to play here for nothing, as opposed to go to the G League where I don't know what you make in the G League, 150 grand?
Yeah, these are questions he's going to have to weigh all offseason for sure. But that's going to do it for this hour. We're going to come back. Steve Lehman, News Channel 5. We're going to talk about the Titans. Robert Woods has a press conference today at noon. Their moves. We'll even throw in a college hoop locally. Here with Steve on the other side to begin hour number 2. That's next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing. Social Furniture on the West Side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social. They have all the best brand mattresses, sofas, recliners, love seats, sectionals, coffee tables, and more with no waiting. They will deliver it the same day. That's with everything at Social Furniture. Enjoy new furniture now with no waiting. Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
Did you know that every diamond at Genesis Diamonds is over 1 billion years old? That's before dinosaurs, even before some of the stars in the sky. These elusive stones were originally formed miles beneath the Earth's surface, each one born in a volcanic explosion, yet kept hidden for generations. It's a fact that for every 1 carat diamond at Genesis Diamonds, trained miners blasted through over 200 tons of rock, and skilled experts sifted through the rubble to find the highly sought-after rough diamonds. Then expert cutters spend untold hours shaping and polishing each stone, unlocking its beauty and fire and brilliance. From the hands of the craftsman direct to you, these magical stones are your piece of eternity. Precious, rare, unique, indestructible, and treasured all over the world. Oh, and the unbeatable prices at Genesis Diamonds? They're just a bonus. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Uncompromising quality, unimaginable value.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Daunic, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
NASCAR is back. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Speedway, a winner.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Daunic, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game.
Second hour on this Wednesday morning. Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, Derek Mason with you. Now Steve Lehman, News Channel 5, joins us. Robert Woods will be sworn in as new Titans wide receiver in in an hour. Coming up at high noon. We're going to talk to Tim Hasselbeck at noon. A little bit later, we will have what Robert Woods said in that presser. Steve, what do you make of that move? A guy who tore his ACL in early November last year, a guy who's been a productive receiver, you could say was the number one receiver in L.A. before his injury, and then Cooper Kupp just had an unbelievable year. What do you make of the deal? They didn't have to give up much, but he's going to be hurt.
Yeah, I love, Darren, what he does to the Titans offense, because he's a guy who's not afraid to block, but he's a guy that does everything you want from a wide receiver. And to put him opposite A.J. Brown, I think you finally, if he's healthy, can have that 1-2 wide receiver punch that we were always hoping we would get out of Julio Jones and just never did because of his health. And so you do wonder how quickly he'll be able to get back, that November time frame. Is he going to be full go? He says he's going to be full go by training camp, but will he be 100% by week 1? You know, Derek probably can answer that question from a wide receiver perspective better than I certainly could. But as long as he's healthy, what he's done on the field up to this point of his career, I think fits perfectly into the Titans offense and gives them a big punch in that wide receiver room down a 1-2 combo over there. And then you throw in the Austin Hooper signing, by the way, which I think may be just as big, because we all know over the last several years, certainly when Arthur Smith was here, how important the tight end was to the passing game. Now you have a capable pass catcher in Hooper as well. I really like what the Titans have done offensively so far this offseason.
Are they still the favorite today, sitting here in late March? I know there's a lot more work to be done with a draft and all that good stuff, but on paper, do you think they're still the favorite, or did the Matt Ryan deal to Indy change things in your mind?
Darren, I think they're still the favorites. The totality of what they have and that defense and pass rush coming back in particular, and then the improvements on offense. But I think the trade for Matt Ryan brings the Colts a whole lot closer than they were. You know, no matter what the Titans did in the offseason, if Carson Wentz was still the quarterback in Indianapolis, I would have said the Titans are the favorite. I just don't believe in Carson Wentz. I believe more in Matt Ryan. So I think he gives them a much better chance. But that's all the more reason why I like what the Titans have done offensively. The huge improvement defensively last year makes this team look like a championship roster on that side of the ball. They had to upgrade offensively, and I think they've done that with the moves they made so far.
What is the one position right now you still think needs to be addressed? It needs to still be a high priority moving forward.
Oh, man. I think the big thing for me is what are you going to do at right tackle still? Mm-hmm. That was something that obviously they've tried to address the last couple of years, whether it be through the draft or free agency, and they still don't have an answer that you know for sure that guy's going to be in the starting lineup on September 11th or 12th or whatever week 1 is next year, and he's going to be there and be able to play 17 games, and you can count on him. And obviously now you've got Roger Saffold leaving as well, and Jamarco Jones coming into the mix. So it's going to be a different-looking offensive line for sure. But who is going to be that right tackle, and can you count on him to be as productive as a guy, as a Ben Jones has been, as a Taylor Lewan has been, even a Nate Davis? Can you count on him to be there week in and week out and give you good protection and help you maul people in the run game and get Derrick Henry going again? To me, that is the biggest question mark. You can talk about some other things that they might want to do and maybe find another cornerback now that Jack Rabbit Jenkins is gone, some of that stuff. But to me, right tackle remains the biggest question.
We'll talk with Steve Lehman, News Channel 5, talking Tennessee Titans. I'm still a little skeptical about not based on the person Robert Woods or the player, just the Robert Woods coming off an ACL. And not having, and I always tell these guys this, under the new collective bargaining, a guy that has just come off an ACL, he doesn't have the time to sit with his quarterback and practice with his quarterback to build that rapport. I think that was one of those things that hurt Julio Jones. He just didn't have enough time, and then he was hurt as well, and it just didn't make for a good marriage with the Titans. And I'm just waiting with Robert Woods, because I don't want it to end up where everybody's excited again and then you end up not getting the production that you thought you were going to get from a wide receiver coming off an ACL.
Yeah, I agree with you. And let's be real, Derek. We've seen this play out different ways here in Tennessee because the Titans have been fairly aggressive of going after guys, whether it be drafting or in free agency, that are coming off of injury. And we've seen it play out in the way that like a Jeffrey Simmons happened, where you wonder what you're going to get, and by middle of his rookie season, he's a productive guy for you, and by year 2, he's a dominant force for you. And we've seen it play out like Julio Jones last year, where you never really saw what you hoped you'd see on the field. Where Robert Woods will be in that, I don't know. I think the hope you have as a Titans fan is that he comes in able to contribute early, but maybe he won't be the full-go guy right away. You know, maybe he won't be all-pro or a Pro Bowler right off the bat, but can he give you something early and then develop that chemistry and rapport with Ryan Tannehill and within the offense as the season goes? So by November and December, you start to see what he can really do 1 year off of that injury as you head towards the playoffs. I think that's what you hope for if you're the Titans. That would follow a similar script with what happened with Jeffrey Simmons. And also for the Titans, the fact that Robert Woods is 29 years old, I think you believe this isn't a move for not just September or October, but really next year. You hope he can help you, but you hope he gives you a few years here as the 1-2 punch with A.J. Brown, where with Julio it was always kind of, this is a move for right now. This year, maybe next year, let's see if that gets you over the hump. That one didn't work. I have higher hopes that Robert Woods, given where he is in his career, can get back healthy and be the productive player the Titans hope he can be.
Now, another receiver on their roster, A.J. Brown, not his play. I'm not talking about anything in regards to his play because I think he's been really good. He can be better, and I know he will get better. But the tweet that he sent out about Marcus, I know many probably looked at it. It was gone after a while, and they kind of dismissed it. But as a former player, I'm never going to, unless I have a problem with the quarterback that is on my team now, I would never put out a tweet or something publicly saying this was the best leader that I've ever had, knowing that you still have a quarterback in your locker room that many, it's split half and half. Half of the, Nashville don't like him and half do. It seems like the Titans love him because they're going to keep him. But I think situations like that can cause a rip. He quickly took it down, which means somebody either got in his ear very quickly or the head coach sent the text or the GM sent the text and said, listen, we can't have this. It tells me something. It ain't all roses in that locker room in regards to how A.J. Brown feel about the quarterback and how everybody else feels about him.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think it's possible that A.J. Brown realized after he put it out that, that maybe isn't the best look I've ever thrown out there, and I need to take it down myself. So I don't know what the backstory is on that. But I'll even go back further, Derek. We go to the end of the season after Tannehill throws the 3 interceptions in that Bengals game, and the next day at locker cleanout, or I guess it was 2 days later, that Monday, we're all sitting there. And A.J. Brown was one of the guys who talked. Now, Ryan Tannehill didn't talk. Taylor Lewan didn't talk. A bunch of guys who are the quote-unquote leaders of this team didn't talk on that day, and A.J. Brown did. So let's say that about A.J. Brown, first of all. But you ask him the question about Ryan Tannehill, and he didn't say anything bad. It wasn't negative of Tannehill per se, but he also didn't say anything that was like, oh, yeah, he's our quarterback. It's one game. It's no big deal. We believe in him. We can get to the promised land. It was kind of right down the middle of the fence. Like, I talked to him after the game. What I said is going to remain private, and, we'll just move forward, and that'll be what it is. I thought at the time that was pretty eye-opening because up until then, pretty much throughout the course of the season, even when Tannehill had a bad game, everybody in the locker room essentially came out and was like, we're in the position we're in because Ryan Tannehill has gotten us to this position. And then all of a sudden on that day, you have A.J. saying that or not saying that anymore. And that was the same day, by the way, that Mike Vrabel said, look, Ryan Tannehill can be a good quarterback for us, but we have to be great around him. To me, that day definitely signals a shift into how this Titans organization feels about Tannehill. And yes, he's going to be back. because he's getting paid a ton of money, and they're going to have to figure out a way to win with him. But I definitely think there's a difference here between maybe a year ago where you were like, okay, we got to see it, but we believe Ryan Tannehill can lead us to the promised land in the postseason, to after what we saw against Cincinnati. Now I think it's everybody saying, I'm not sure he can do it, and I don't believe it until he proves it.
Steve, really appreciate the visit. As always, it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. Still more work to be done. Continue the good work on News Channel 5, and we'll talk down the road.
All right, guys, be good. Thank you.
All right, Steve Lehman here on the DDC. We'll come back and discuss what the Titans roster looks like here sitting in late March. We'll do that on the other side right here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Nothing makes one feel better than the ability to give to someone in need. You have the power to give the most important gift of all, the gift of life, with a donation of your blood. Supplies are desperately low in our area, and your help is needed. Blood Assurance is a nonprofit community blood center that supplies our Middle Tennessee area hospitals. Please find it in your heart to donate. Be someone's hero today. Go to bloodassurance.org to find a location or blood drive near you. That's bloodassurance.org. Give blood, give local, save lives with Blood Assurance.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Chevrolet Buick GMC. It's March, and you gotta ask yourself one question. Do you feel lucky? Well, do you? We hope you feel lucky, because we're handing out luck all month long in Newton. We have great deals in both our sales and service departments. We have deals on the cars, trucks, and SUVs you've been looking for. That's not all. We're gonna give you top dollar for your trade, and we're going to give you a great deal on your next car. Essentially, save you money and make you money at the same time. Thomas Jefferson once said, "I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more of it I have." Well, at Newton, we're here ready to work hard for you to see if we're lucky enough to earn your business. Your luck can begin at home by starting your deal with Newton FastPass. Don't wait. Find your luck at NewtonChevroletBuickGMC.com. See website for details. No shame for the lame disclaim.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Daunic for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now, with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto, and they did a Loan Pronto zero-cost cash-out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Use the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the 2s and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Every Wednesday at 6, we go behind the glass with current and former Predators players, along with coaches and broadcasters for Nashville Live.
Yost, Hal, and I were just talking about last night's game. It was a big game for us.
Presented by New Amsterdam Vodka, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, and Red Spirits and Wine on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Interact with Darren, Daunic, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Go to theGameNashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deals. Right now, half off Woodhouse Spa, Mainstay, and Brooklyn Bowl. Check out Nashville's best deals at theGameNashville.com/deals. Tim Hasselback coming up at high noon. Appreciate Steve Lehman for joining us back here on the DDC. The tweet A.J. Brown put out there when Marcus Mariota signed a 2-year contract with the Falcons.
So you're rocking out the new edition, Derek.
Yeah,
I know. I like it. I like it. A.J. Brown. Yeah, we did. We had the cassette. That's right. Cassette in the little case. Usually the lyrics, right? You pull it out, and you had the lyrics in there.
Oh, if you were lucky, yeah.
Yeah, that was always the really cool one.
All right, read this tweet. Read this tweet. This is a really long tweet. It's very philosophical.
Very, very long. So everybody sit down. This is very long. Best leader I ever been around. Okay, your thoughts. Best leader I ever been around.
So basically, the NFL tweets out the Falcons have agreed to terms on a 2-year contract with Marcus Mariota. AJ quote tweets it with that. Best leader I ever been around. That's it. That's the tweet.
That's
all right,
it.
so D-Mace, your thoughts. Give me the, because we just talked about it a little bit with Steve. Was this a mistake?
Oh, it was a huge. I mean, it was the truth to him. Because if it's not the truth, he's not putting that tweet out. Because it's not like Marcus Mariota is coming back to Nashville. He's going to the Atlanta Falcons. And you took it upon yourself to, speak your truth. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, But then here's the problem. Here's where the problem lies. It's several. You take it down very quickly. Stand on it, man. Just stand on it. Stand on it. You put it out there. I don't know what people think. Okay, I'm going to send it out, and I'm going to pull it back quick. No, it's out there now. It's out.
Right. It's out there. It's out there forever.
People live on Twitter 24/7. And the minute especially sports people.
If you have a name.
Mm-hmm, especially, if you're a Titan fan, you're on Twitter a lot, especially if you're young. And you're trying to see what's going on with your team during free agency. So for you to delete it, that makes no sense because it's going to get retweeted and it's going to get picked up again. So you deleting it makes no sense to me. I just stand on what you said and move on.
Okay.
But, okay.
Now, is it possible, D-Mace, that he was just trying to shout out Marcus? He's been sitting on the bench for 2 years.
No.
He likes Marcus.
No, Willie.
He just wants to see it.
Coach Willie, no. Hey, Billy, no.
You're saying no. You're saying I think he just might have been trying to be supportive of Marcus Mariota, and it wasn't.
Why would you just say, I'm really happy for him?
He didn't realize
exactly. He was a great teammate. He was a great teammate, great
really
guy.
Happy for
I
him.
wish you nothing but luck at
Atlanta.
Said.
But that's what he realized.
What he should have, Willie.
But hold on, hear me out. Hear me out.
Go ahead.
This is what he realized right after he sent the tweet. That's what he should have said, but he didn't. And so it looks like you can interpret it like it's a shot at Tannehill. And as soon as he realized, he was like, uh-oh, this is Twitter we're talking about here.
You made a point to use the word leader. Leader.
Hey,
you could have said, congrats, Marcus.
Exactly.
Love you, bro. Happy for you.
That's right. But I think
he said
he took
best
about 30
leader.
Seconds, floated it out there, and then he hit send. He didn't do the Herm Edwards.
Right.
Don't
then he got a call. Then he got a call from an unknown number, Titans facility. It said, yeah, AJ, love you. Need you to take that one down, bro.
Right, but it's like 7 words. But this is in Twitter. It's interpreted however we think. I can't get inside the mind of A.J. Brown, what he meant by that.
You're
but
saying,
teammates, you seem to be sure that he's saying that he thinks Marcus is a better leader than Tannehill. I don't think I read into it like that.
Listen, the words are the words. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck, Willie. Okay?
That's why you don't hit send.
A spade
you got to think about
this. A spade is a spade. What he did was he told the truth, Willie.
It's Billy to you, sir.
Yeah. Billy, he told the truth, okay? That's just what he did. He told his truth. I don't know if it's anybody else's truth, but it's his truth. And he put his truth out there, okay? There's nothing wrong with that at all in regards to putting it out there. Leave it out there, because once you put it out there, it's going to get retweeted. It's not like A.J. Brown is some guy that don't play and never played and he throw the tweet out there. No, nobody's going to retweet it. No, but you are the best receiver on this team. You are the guy. Beside Derrick Henry, you are the next guy on offense. So when you put a tweet out there like that, you know it's going to get retweeted. Don't erase it. You told the truth. It was your truth. That's problem number one, that he put it out. Problem number two is you have a quarterback in the locker room that people are questioning already, Willie. They're questioning him already. And then you put that out there. Now people are really questioning it. Does AJ?
Yes, I know.
This is how I see it now. You better get your damn quarterback, because AJ ain't gonna be there. AJ looking around at all these other receivers going to teams that having quarterbacks, and he's looking like, man, the money's gonna be great. I can go and get my money anywhere, but I want to win a championship. And
but this is,
I don't know.
This all from a 7-word tweet.
Yes,
or
absolutely, because it was the truth, Willie. It was his truth.
All right, now I'm just gonna give you a funny story, and because you sound like okay, I had a good buddy in college. He had a great girlfriend, but as soon as he said something about another girl, oh, hey, what an attractive girl there, his girlfriend went nuts. You think she's prettier than me? You think she's a better leader than me? Like, it just sounds to me like you're jumping to the conclusion. Like, I hope
Willie, that's a bad analogy right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many times around Aaron do you go, that's a pretty girl right there, look at that. Woo, pretty girl. Pretty girl alert.
And listen, that guy told the truth too, but it came out of his mouth.
Hey, guess what? She may be a pretty girl, but you don't say that around Aaron.
Oh, no.
When you go out to the restaurant, you're like, hey, our waitress.
Why can't I be secure enough? Why can't I be secure enough with my relationship with my quarterback that I can't just give a compliment to another quarterback?
Because everybody else is questioning. Everybody's questioning him.
I'm not happy with my quarterback.
Okay, I can see if no one was questioning Ryan Tannehill. Ryan was great, and he was winning football games, and it wasn't because of him that you lost that, in the second round in the AFC playoffs. I could see if all of that, if he was like he was doing everything, and y'all lost wasn't because of him. Everybody's questioning Ryan, and then you, as the number one receiver, one of the leaders on the team, you throw out a tweet like that. You just don't do it. It was your truth. I understand it, but you don't do it, because now, regardless of what anyone else says, people are always going to think like, man, is it really peachy creamy in that locker room? And
Look, I agree with you. It's a bad tweet just because of how Twitter works, because it leaves that up to interpretation. But I'm just going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt that he did not mean it to be a shot at Ryan Tannehill. But the way he worded it, I'll bet you he didn't put much thought into it. It's a bad tweet.
Well, why would you put thought into it? Exactly. If you believe what you're saying, why do you need deep thoughts? If you're saying he's the best leader I've ever been around, why do you need to think about it? What is there to think about?
It's a throwaway line. I think he's happy for Marcus Mariota. I don't think
That's not a throwaway line.
That's not a throwaway line. A throwaway line is, hey, bro, really happy for you. Love you.
That's a throwaway line.
Rooting for you.
A.J. Brown is a positive guy. He doesn't go around slamming people.
I didn't say he slammed anybody.
Yes,
Derek said that's his truth.
That's his truth. That is his truth. He said that Marcus basically was the greatest leader he's been around. Okay? The greatest leader he's been around. So by the way, he has a quarterback still in line. That's like me saying, when Mac retired and we brought Joe Flacco in. Love Joe. I thought he's a really good player. And if I had said, you know what, Mac was the greatest leader I've been around. 2 years later, Mac was the greatest leader I've been around. that does something to the guy that's in the locker room already. And people are wondering, like, well, is Joe not a leader? Like, what's going on here? You don't say it. It might have been my truth had I said that, but you don't say it considering what's going on now surrounding your quarterback.
I knew. Well, I should have known we were going to get into this, and this was going to be hot and heavy. I knew that. And we're going to continue on because we're getting texts that there is one that I want to read that I want to see, and I don't know if it's the truth or not because I didn't check this, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. But it does, if this text is true, it then puts it to me even in more question. I'll tell you what I'm talking about on the other side here on the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexrode for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Cobra, featuring the new LTDX drivers, engineered for the longest total distance with extreme forgiveness. Internal weights create the power core, and hot face technology delivers faster ball speeds at every contact point. 4 drivers to fit every golfer's needs. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
At Copper Branch, they live life to the fullest. Food is your energy and your life. Located in the heart of downtown Nashville, their goal is to serve you, your friends, and family quality, great-tasting, plant-based power foods. Visit Copper Branch at 601 Church Street for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with convenient and validated parking during library hours, and download their app for curbside pickup. Or come out for songwriter and live music nights several times throughout the week to empower, energize, and feel your best. Visit Copper Branch today.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am Hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Smashville, this is Sean Henry. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tim Hasselbeck coming up at noon. Chris Mason at 1 o'clock from Vegas. A.J. Brown tweeted out when Marcus Mariota signed a 2-year contract with the Falcons. That was put out by the NFL on their Twitter. He attached that and basically retweeted with the quote, "Best leader I ever been around." That was from A.J. Brown. Now, on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, this texter, without a name, says, and then I lost it. There's been so many. I'm sorry. There's so many texts.
I think the ex-girlfriend analogy is a good one. If you make a comment
didn't...
about your ex-girlfriend and say a couple, we know she looked very nice. She dresses very nice. Oh, you're saying she dresses better than me?
That's different.
Like
dressing, Willie. That's different.
Can he not compliment his ex-teammate without offending his current?
Well, go ahead and compliment your ex-girlfriend, Willie. Go ahead. See how that go in.
You have to be secure.
I'm going to have to get you a steak for your eye, okay?
And a new patch.
Exactly.
You have to be secure. You have to be secure in your current relationship. Like AJ, he just wanted to compliment Marcus Mariota on getting a job. The guy's been on the bench for 2 years. He
the
likes
texter says.
Listen, did anybody here think that Marcus Mariota was the best leader? No. He wasn't the best leader. His leadership skills were questioned a lot. You guys,
Mike Vrabel did.
Yeah.
The head coach questioned it. We were at training camp when it happened.
That's why I think it's a throwaway line by AJ. He's a good guy. He wants to see Marcus do well. That's it.
Okay, Billy.
The texter says he didn't take it down that quick. He actually followed it up with another one, and everyone got on him. Obviously, there was a lot of comments, and it was up for a while before he eventually took it down. I guess there were a ton of comments, obviously, and then it went down. I didn't follow the exact timeline. I do know that there were a lot of – he got flooded with comments, as you can imagine. So if that's how he felt and it was up for a while – why was it deleted? If that's how it played out, what does he have to? What does he have to apologize for if that's what he believes?
Maybe that's his truth.
And by the way, why is it wrong for him to believe that? Other than the fact that Marcus Mariota plays for another team and he's got a quarterback here and he's making a comment like that. But what does he have to? If that's how he feels, why would he delete it? What does he have to apologize for?
He has not. He shouldn't apologize. He has no reason to apologize. That was his truth. He was in that locker room. He was around Marcus. He believed that. He still believes that. He could have said, if he didn't believe that, he could have just said, hey, listen, congrats on a new team. I hope, you go out and you remain the quarterback, and I hope your career gets, much better and, everything other than what he said. But what he said was the truth. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Why take it down? Leave it up there unless you got, maybe a text from somebody else saying, hey, listen, you may want to pull that one down. Because, again, in a situation that the Titans have, everybody's already questioning their quarterback on the field. Everybody. Hell, they might even be questioning it in that facility.
Not if you listen to him.
Well, if you listen to him after the game, then, yeah, they probably were questioning it. But then once they had time to go look, think, it's like, maybe that wasn't the right, thing to say. Or when John Robinson is getting very emotional at the combine. Some of it probably had to do with, Ryan Tannehill signing that long contract that you got to deal with him for another year. You can't get out of it. Well, you probably could, but there's a lot of repercussions on that.
Yep.
But he said that everything that's surrounding your quarterback, it's your truth. I understand it. But in order to keep everything in harmony in that locker room, you don't put it out. Again, that was your tweet. It was your truth. If indeed that is the case, stand on it, leave it out there. Don't even worry about it. Okay? But when you put it out there, you got to understand there are things that are going to come. Repercussions. There are going to be consequences for you putting out a tweet like that.
Whether it was the truth or not, it was a bad tweet. I agree with you on that, Derek. Now, what are the other people saying? Darren, what do we got on the text?
Well, Rick in Clarksville says on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, go ahead, Willie, and say that to your ex, and we'll be calling you One-Eyed Philly.
Sleeping on the couch, Philly.
Exactly.
Maybe calling him West End Philly, because that's where he'll be living.
But here's
it won't
really
be
what
East
I think.
Nashville, Willie. It'll be West End Philly. I think that'll be his new home.
But you know who's secure enough not to be bothered by this tweet? Ryan Tannehill. I don't think he'll think anything of this, honestly.
Okay.
I'm not worried. You know what? I'm not worried about Ryan Tannehill. I'm really not. And Titans fans, whether you're for him or against him, in regards to his play, y'all shouldn't worry about it either. What y'all need to be worrying about is A.J. Brown and him saying that, knowing that he has a contract coming up. And I'm not saying that he's not going to sign with the Titans. That's not what I'm saying. But best believe he's looking around like, listen, if I ball out, which I know I am, because he's that dude. If I ball out, I'm going to get paid. Somebody's going to pay me for my services, okay? The quarterback situation is a different deal. I see all these other guys that have these the guy at quarterback, whether it's Mahomes, Brady, he's probably looking at Brady like, man, and Evans and Godwin like, man, I sure would love to play with a Brady. When you say something like that, hey, you might be playing with someone like Brady next year.
Okay. Fudge. I love your name, Fudge. On the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Okay. Do people really think that Marcus is the best leader? I'm reading word for word. That's why I said okay. Okay. Do people really think that Marcus is the best leader he has ever been around? You all are reading into this way too much. People tell other people that they're the best of all time just as a casual compliment. All he was saying was that Marcus is a great guy, essentially. Really? Okay. So here's my counter to that.
Okay.
Here's my counter to that.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you say to an ex, do you say on social media or anybody in an earshot, including the current person that you're with, in a relationship with, married to, whatever, she was the prettiest girl I've ever seen?
Nope.
Or she was the greatest person I've ever been around. Would you say that?
Nope.
Would you say that? If you think about it, everybody out there, male or female, if you're married and you were saying this about your ex, even if you're paying them the highest compliment, would you say they're one of the greatest people I've ever been around? Would you say that?
Probably not.
One of the greatest people, I think there are things you can say if you're secure in your relationship that would not
Willie,
be taken
that's something
the wrong
you
way.
cannot say, Willie.
Wouldn't you
know
just
that.
say, hey, I really enjoyed my time with them. They're a good person. They're really good.
People.
They're good people. They're good people.
They're good people.
Wouldn't you say that?
I think there's a way to say it, yes. And this is not the way to say it that A.J. Brown said, and he realized it. That
Best
it was
leader
be interpreted
ever.
the wrong thing.
Best leader ever.
Hey, listen, I'm only going by the man's words, okay? He
Right,
could have
but
put any other word.
tweet.
He could have put any other words. He could. That's the great thing about Twitter. You can put just about whatever you want, and you can look at it. You can look at it for a minute,
right?
Read it, put your period or your exclamation point or your question mark, whatever, and then send it. Okay.
And you can't get it back. Yeah,
and you can't.
get
so
it back.
you
That's
can.
why,
So you know exactly what you're saying. The hell. These guys, when guys put out tweets, they're not. Sometimes they are stupid tweets, and sometimes they're great tweets. But they know what they're doing when they put out those tweets. They understand what they're doing. And then sometimes y'all give these guys a lot of credit, and then sometimes y'all say, well, maybe he didn't mean that. The hell if he didn't. I'm only going by his words. Mama named him Clay, I'm going to call him Clay, okay? That's just the way it is. All right, he wrote that down. That's what I'm going to believe. It quacks like a duck, I'm going to believe it's a duck, okay? Call a spade a spade. That's what you do. If you're a loser, then I'm going to call you a loser. If you're a winner, I'm going to call you a winner. That's just the way it is. I don't want to hear this. Well, maybe he didn't, mean it that way. He wrote it, looked at it, put a period, and then sent it and let it sit there.
Until he got a ton of comments,
Exactly.
and then it was gone.
Yeah, I could.
You're telling me you've never done that? In a
No,
tweet?
I've never done that. Nope.
You've never said a tweet where you're like, you know what, I didn't word that very well. I wish I had not done that.
No.
Really?
Every tweet that I've sent, yes, every tweet that I've sent, I meant it. There have been funny tweets. There have been some other tweets. But I know when I'm sending a tweet, I read it and I understand what I'm doing, and then I send it. Now, I may have erased the tweet because I misspelled a word and then end up putting the same tweet
we've all
out.
done that. I
yes,
get that, yeah.
But I've never put out a tweet and then said, whoops, no, because I had time to think about it. Give these guys more credit than what y'all giving them. He knew what he was putting out. I'm not saying that he thinks Ryan's a bad guy. No. But his tweet said one thing, he sent it out there, okay?
Are we to believe that Ryan Tannehill, if this gets to him, which we know it will, it will.
And Ryan's not going to say
what do you
anything
think
about it.
He's not going to say anything publicly, but, I mean, honestly, you don't think that he doesn't have an opinion about that? It doesn't like, wow, okay. Like, really? Like, he's a human being. Like, do you think Ryan Tannehill just laughed that off? I'm not sure I'm willing to say that.
So if Ryan,
why would you laugh that off? Again, all the examples we've used, if you did that around someone else, do you think they would laugh it off? Or do you think they would kind of look at you, give you the side stare, or be like tilt their head a little bit? Really?
If he's that insecure on that tweet, then he's got bigger problems than that tweet.
So if Ryan had put out, just say, I don't know, I don't know the receivers he played with. So just say one of his receivers he played with, whether it be in college or in the pros. If he put out there knowing that he has A.J. Brown in the room, who's been really good for him, if he put out a tweet from a guy about a guy going to a team and said, man, that was the best teammate, the best pass catcher, the best wide receiver I've ever thrown to, how do you think A.J. Brown would feel?
I think there needs to have there would be a conversation. I think AJ is
there
probably already called.
Absolutely.
That's right. Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll come back and we'll discuss that. And there has been a huge trade in the National Football League. Someone big is on the move. We'll tell you about all that to wrap up the second hour of the DDC next.
This is Phil Tomasino, and this is Smashville.
Cousins put it in front of the score. Tomasino lofts it in. 2-0 Nashville.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies continue with us all day, and the wind still kind of breezy, howling in out of the north. That's going to make it hard to warm up. Temperatures only going to the lower 60s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, March 23rd, we're doing something special. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, shown by Cambridge to repair blood vessels and get rid of ED at its core. If you're ready to put a stop to your erectile dysfunction, call us now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 3 additional treatments to our patients free. This means that if you notice results fading, we'll retreat you free of charge. This is unprecedented and worth $1,000. Call today, Wednesday, March 23rd, and qualify free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Hey, Darren McFarland here. I want to tell you about this new social sports betting app I've been loving called Wager, W-A-G-R. Rather than betting against the house, Wager lets you bet with other people in Tennessee. It can be your friends, co-workers, or even me. As a special promo for ESPN 102.5 The Game listeners, if you're over 21, go to wager.me/DMAC, and you'll get free wagers that you can use to challenge me. That's WAGR.me/DMAC. Join me and challenge your community, not the house. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-889-9789 for help.
Looking to score with a Delta 8? Meet your new one-stop shop for anything and everything Delta 8. D8 Superstore has Delta 8 vapes, gummies, dabs, flour, and more. Backed by their years of extensive product research and testing, they offer the best prices, selection, and quality on the market. Get free shipping on every order with customer support that responds in minutes. So don't wait. Try their Delta 8. Shop with us at d8superstore.com.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year 1?
Wake up and hang out with Robby and Rexrode. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Daunic, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
If you have, you've missed a doozy. Man, we're not even 2 hours in, and it has been rocking and rolling. Chiefs are indeed trading 6-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins. He's going to South Beach. 5 draft picks. This year's first-round pick, which is a number 29. A second-round pick this year, number 50. A fourth-round pick, and a fourth and a sixth in next year, 2023.
What just happened?
First, a second, a fourth this year. Fourth and sixth next year.
What do you mean? Just
now, I want to ask
Willie?
D-Mace this question.
It just happened. It's
What?
sitting-
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you mean?
Let me throw this at you.
They told his agent to go look for a trade, and he got him a trade in Miami.
You know, that's what's funny. D-Mace, I want to throw it to you this way. Yesterday it was funny. You had the hypothetical meeting with the Vanderbilt logo. Said, go get me a new logo. And he said the guy walked out of the office, came back. I got the new logo. 5 minutes later, here you go. Now,
no, it was after
I want to know how.
Yeah, it was after lunch.
Well, this was. I mean,
What's
this
the 5
happened in a hurry. Do you think when the Chiefs said, "Okay, go ahead, seek a trade," that they thought this could get turned around that quick? It's like they walked out of the room, and said, "Okay, you'll give me permission."
No, I've already
done.
told you. They were already shopping him around. They were asking for 2 first-round picks. And you know what they were getting? The phone slammed down, okay? They were already shopping him. This didn't happen this morning. The Chiefs have been shopping, looking for 2 first-round picks.
So you
this
think
was
the
the best
Chiefs
deal
are
they
okay
got.
with this? Like Patrick Mahomes is sitting there going, "Wait a minute,
It's not what Patrick.
what happened?"
Patrick Mahomes can't say anything. He has $250 million, probably more than that. I mean, what was that contract? Like $400 million?
It was $500 million. It was
exactly.
a half a
so
bill.
what can he say? It's part of the reason why they couldn't sign him back, because once he saw what Devontae Adams got, they probably was close to a deal, and they probably were going back and forth. But the minute Devontae Adams went to the Las Vegas Raiders making $28.7 or $28.5 million per year, he was like, whoa. I know I was asking for, I know we were like around that 17, 18 per, but it's quickly jumped up into the 20s, mid-20s. He probably was asking for 20 a year. Now it's jumped up to the mid-20s because of what Devontae got with the Raiders. And based on their production, he's right. He's absolutely right. Like, listen, he got 28. I should be somewhere in that ballpark, okay? So the deal that Miami and the Chiefs made, I'm pretty sure has been in the works for a while. When they finally figure, hey, we can't get this guy signed. Now Miami has to, not only do they give up the picks, they got to pay him.
Now they got to pay him.
Yeah. And they're going to have to pay him that mid-20 range.
They've got a lot of guys under, they've been doing a lot of drafting here lately, so they've got a lot of guys in rookie contracts. But you know who's squarely on the clock right now? Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Survey says, ding, D-Mace just nailed it. Number one answer, Tua, you're now on the clock. Because they drafted Jalen Waddle in the first round. Now they've gone out and given up 5 draft picks, and they're going to pay Tyreek Hill. And they already have, they have pretty good receivers already around him. Now you add Tyreek Hill. Tua is squarely on the clock. If everybody's been trying to figure out, what is he? Is he good enough? Is he not good enough? We're about to find out, because if he can't make this work, then I think we have our answer. Anybody disagree?
I don't.
No.
Not
Do
at
not
all.
disagree.
They're putting pieces
But
around him.
I can't help but wonder, though, is this going to be a lose-lose?
And they kept his tight end, by the way. They kept Gesicki. They kept his
signed
tight
Teron
end.
Armstead, too, at tackle.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're putting the pieces around him.
Can Tua get him the ball the way that Mahomes got him the ball.
Well,
I don't know.
probably
I
not.
don't know
No.
that
No.
Tyreek Hill is going to put up the same kind of production now. But he's got the contract, and so I guess that's
4
that's
years, $120 million, 72 of it guaranteed.
But this is the risk you run. You get the money, but now you go to a different address. Will he ever be the same player? Because you are dependent on the quarterback.
Well, you never. I mean, you just don't know. Now, will he get the catches that he got with Mahomes, the 111 catches? Probably not, because Waddle's a really good receiver. I mean, he's going to need his touches, and the tight end's going to need their touches. But it's not. I don't think it's more so about how many passes he catches. It's about, one, what he creates for everybody else on the field and how he makes everybody else's jobs a little bit easier. I'm talking about the outside guys and the tight end. And then, two, how many explosive plays are we getting? Where were they at as a explosive play team last year compared to what they could potentially be with Tyreek Hill? You team Tyreek Hill up with Waddle. You're talking about two speedsters, and Waddle's just a jack of all trades. He can do just about anything. So they're banking on, maybe you're not going to get the 111 catches, but you're going to get more explosive plays here. Now, it's going to have to, the explosive plays only come how? If the quarterback can get you the football.
So now what are the Chiefs? Without,
I'm not picking them to win the
guy
Super
that
Bowl.
really makes the offense go.
I'm not picking them to win the Super Bowl. I'm not picking them to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, there's got to be a counter move. I mean,
who do you counter with?
Hey, they're going to use their first-round pick on a receiver. Oh, wait, they don't have that. No, they're going to use their second-round pick on a receiver. Oh, well, they don't have that either.
Who are you talking about?
Chiefs.
No, Chiefs just got it.
Oh, that's right. They got it.
They
got it. Excuse me.
They just
Sorry,
got
I'm all
the first one.
confused.
So they're going to have to address the wide
They got
receiver.
2 first-round picks, right? I mean, they got all kind. I mean, they're going to be drafting wide receivers.
At least
pretty
one
clear.
of them.
Okay. Rookie wide receivers, how do they do?
I understand. Maybe let's get another disgruntled wide receiver out there. Maybe they make a trade for him. There's always one, Derek.
Yeah.
You know any of them?
But you're changing the formula that's been so good. The chemistry between Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill has been pretty special for a long time. So the formula is going to change. I guess inevitably it had to change because of the cap. I do wonder, though, if they do have the waiting in the wings plan to take the money that they would have paid Tyreek Hill, or is it just spoken for? Is it just all going to Patrick Mahomes? Some of it probably is. But what were we talking about yesterday? You have to have a plan B?
I don't know if they got a plan
B. Do they have a plan B? They had to, when they said, yes, you can seek a trade, I have to believe the Chiefs thought, okay, what's our plan if we do not have Tyreek Hill?
Well, I guess their plan was this. Because their money situation is a little bit tied up right now, because of the way my checking and savings kind of operates, I can't really do what I really want to do. So maybe if we get all these draft picks, we can kind of build that way instead of trying to pay these free agents that we can't pay because, our credit card is almost maxed out.
But, guys, this is what happens when you have the elite quarterback.
Yeah.
The Packers are going to be in the same. When you pay the quarterback $1 gazillion, which we all know it's important because everybody wants that quarterback, Mahomes and Rodgers are atop the mountain in the NFL. When you pay them those deals, people have to go. I mean, there's going to be fallout. You don't get to keep everybody. And look, they both lost their top weapons. Although you could say Travis Kelce is right. It's 1 and 1A. But both of these guys that have monster deals, they lose their number one receivers. There is going to be a fallout.
You know who's really upset? Travis Kelce.
Right. That takes more attention. It puts more attention on him now.
Absolutely. Whole bunch of it now. He's probably like, man, what is going on here?
But, again, Kansas City will do something. They'll have some type of counter move. I mean, yes, they've got all these draft picks, but there will be some other type of counter move. I suspect they're going to bring somebody else in don't you think?
They're going to have to.
I mean,
drafting a guy.
It's not going to be
in,
as sexy as Tyreek Hill, but it's going to be something.
It was going to have to be something
They're
because
not going to sit on their hands.
Well, they went and got no. I shouldn't even say this, but what the hell I said? They went and got Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, that maybe was their plan B. It's not a good plan B. That's like somebody coming to you and say, "Hey,
I love the way you're laughing."
So give me. They present this deal to you, and you say, "Give me your business plan," and they give it to you, and be like, "Okay, well, give me your real business plan."
All right, what else? What else you got?
Exactly. Well, that's Juju Smith-Schuster. Well,
I'll tell you what else we've got. Tim Hasselbeck. We got to get his reaction.
Oh man,
to begin the third hour. This should be really good. First, I'm going to talk to you about my friends at Cool Springs MD. If you've tacked on some unwanted pounds here lately and you would love to shed them, well, they take weight loss management very serious over there, and they would love to help you. They've got programs and products and people that can put you back on track and headed in the right direction. How about rejuvenation? Your appearance is important, but it gets more challenging as we get older. Things start happening, but they can discuss PRP, hair removal, Botox, and finally hormone therapy. If you had your levels checked, do you realize they dip as you get older? Do you know that affects your mood? Do you know that affects your drive, your energy, feeling off, not feeling yourself? Well, their experienced staff can sit down and discuss BHRT, testosterone, estrogen. They do it all, and they do it all under one roof. These are just some of the things they do there in Cool Springs at 1642 Westgate Circle. If you want to learn everything about these folks, just go to their website, coolspringsmd.com, or you can always pick up the phone and schedule an appointment or a consultation by dialing this number, 615-283-7291. That's 283-7291.
From 440 to Briley Parkway.
You have to do it several times for them to have a chance.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
It's that time of year again as college basketball's tournament is finally upon us. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, BetOnline.net is the #1 source for sports betting needs and info. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Daunic for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto and they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Use the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the 2s and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you could even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Daunic, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game.
Get your sexy on. Third hour, the DVC. Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and D-Mace. Elijah Campbell, the Hillside Medical Game Studio, spinning the tunes. JT, we are ready. Tim Hasselbeck, he's on the line with us. The Chiefs getting 5 draft picks, a first, second, and fourth this year, a 4th and a 6th next year for the services of sending Tyreek Hill to South Beach to play for the Dolphins. Plus, the Dolphins give Tyreek Hill a $120 million contract, $72 million of it guaranteed. Your initial reaction, a deal that just went down, Tim, what do you think?
Surprised, just because I think it's so good. You think like, hey, you don't want good players to be, leaving your team, especially when you feel like, you're a Super Bowl contending team. But looks like some of the information out there in terms of trying to get a deal done with Tyreek Hill, we're getting a little crazy. And so, if you just look at the amount of draft picks, that they get, and you think about a team that definitely has some holes to fill on defense. I guess it makes, you can see how it would make sense for Kansas City. So honestly, it's crazy to me. Like, we only were able to spend like one day talking about Deshaun Watson because like everything else has been moving so fast, because it's like Watson, okay, that's great. But like the next thing it's Matt Ryan, it's Tyreek Hill, it's the press conference for Davante Adams. And so signings and trades and activity that normally would be a big deal, like Robert Woods, it's like, almost just seemed like a bottom line transaction.
They drafted Jalen Waddle last year. Now they've added Tyreek Hill. They signed Cedric Wilson. They still have Devontae Parker. What are they going to do with all these receivers? Somebody has to go, right?
It doesn't mean that they're all going to be there. And you just think about a team like Green Bay, that certainly would be in the market for a wide receiver. New England certainly in a market for a wide receiver. So,
Kansas City.
Kansas
Maybe
City,
they make another trade.
I don't think there's any doubt that, like, there's just going to continue to be more. Look at Tennessee. And then I think, when you look at some of the guys that are out there, whether it's somebody like Jarvis Landry, okay, like what's the role for him? So, some of the panic I've heard from people about Green Bay, now they're like, oh, hey, they don't have Davante Adams. You look at a crowded wide receiver room like Miami, which you just mentioned, and you think, okay, well, maybe there's actually a way for them to, solve their problem. Not with a player the caliber of Davante Adams, but with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback and, just the fact that, like, a guy might be an odd man out somewhere else, you can see how, they can not only survive it, but maybe come out, on the better end of it because they have the money to sign other players.
So what's the plan? How does this affect Kansas City losing their number one receiver moving forward? What do they do?
Well, they lose their number one receiver, but it's not like when I look at them, it's not like I don't feel like they have number one type guys. And when I say that, I'm probably, primarily thinking of Travis Kelce and the fact that, he's such a matchup issue, for everybody. And so you just look at the guys that they have now. So they have Travis Kelce, who, I think you could make an argument in terms of matchup problems. He probably, I think he's one of the five best matchup problems for a defense that exists in the NFL still. So you have Travis Kelce. And then when you look at Juju, who I thought, like, before this trade, like, I thought Juju Smith-Schuster, like, he'd easily go have 90 catches in Kansas City. McCole Hardman's been a very good player who, has a ton of speed. He's not the same caliber of player as Tyreek Hill, but he's a really talented player. They have Josh Gordon, who I guess technically right now would be a guy that is considered a starter.
Is going to be moving forward?
I think if it keeps working for people, then yes, right? So, like, saw the big trades for, like Matthew Stafford a year ago, they go win the Super Bowl. Or, even though it wasn't a trade, you just look at, kind of the all-in philosophy that we saw from Tampa Bay and it worked. And so, like, I think that if it's proving to work, and there are people that want to go chase it, then I think you will see it. At the same time, chances that have created some of this movement. So, just use Watson as an example. Typically, guys that are under contract that are one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the game, aren't on a team where the team is dying to trade them. And in the process of trying to trade them, teams start to look at him, and now all of a sudden it sours the relationship with their current quarterback. So, the Watson move, had this ripple effect that I think is so significant that, that's unusual. So I think the volume of that we're seeing, is still going to be unique, even with teams that are saying, hey, we're going all in, trying to make a splash acquisition to do this. The other aspect that you have is the Denver Broncos are for sale. And, getting Russell Wilson, I think kind of helps create a little more excitement about your franchise than if Drew Lock is your starting quarterback.
Wow. Russell Wilson, he's so last week, like you're saying, Tim.
Right.
There's so many massive moves that have happened since then. It's incredible. It's hard to keep up. We're talking to Tim Hasselbeck. So speaking of the quarterback shuffle here, Tim, I think everybody here is very curious about the net gain for the Colts with Matt Ryan. So give me your thought with the cap, what they gave up, the moving on from Wentz. Have they come out ahead in your mind?
Here's what I would say. I think that they probably have, but I'm not saying that with a ton of confidence. And so you just kind of put it this way. I think from a standpoint of experience, how he's played in critical moments, I think how he will be in the locker room, how he will relate with the coaches, I think there is no question he's an upgrade there. Where he's not an upgrade is that he'll be 37 years old. He doesn't move well. He's never been a physically dominant player. He knows how to play the position, but he's never been, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. That's never been, the strength of his game. And so much so, he's never even been the athlete that Ryan Tannehill is. So, you're not getting a better athlete. If you look at his touchdown interception ratio the past 3 seasons, you're looking at 26 and 14, 26 and 11, 20 and 10. Those aren't better than what Carson Wentz gave you last year. And truthfully, they're right on par with what you got from Phillip Rivers, a couple years ago. So now the question ends up being, is that a product of the supporting cast and issues that they were having in Atlanta? I tend to think, yes, that is a part of it. But how much a part of it, I don't know that anybody really knows. And I would just say this. I think this is really what it comes down to, and this is what I think Chris Ballard is banking on. Matthew Stafford had never won a playoff game in Detroit. He quarterbacked 168 games in Detroit. He had a 100-yard rusher 11 times. That's it. It's hard to be good when that's the environment you're living in. Matt Ryan, when he was accompanied with a 100-yard rusher in Atlanta, his record as a starter was 38-6. And so I think the hope is for Indianapolis that, look, they feel we should have a 100-yard rusher for over half of our games. We feel like we should do that with how we're built and the runner we have and how we play defense. And so, this quarterback can play well with that. I think that's what they're banking on.
It's a great stat. So before we let you go, the merry-go-round is almost over with the quarterbacks here. So Baker Mayfield, what happens here?
Jimmy
G. I think he's got to fight. Yeah, I think he's got to fight for a job. I think he ultimately ends up getting released because his $18 million or $19 million, whatever he's due this year, is guaranteed. So if he were to get traded, somebody would assume that. And so even if he got cut, I don't think he gets claimed. I think they let him, clear the waivers, and then at that point, you can sign him to a veteran minimum deal with some incentives or things like that. And I think the path for Baker would be like go find a quarterback situation that you think that it is unstable, and wait for your opportunity, wait for that guy to fail, and try to beat him out or whatever the situation may be, or honestly go be a backup. And it's the Mitch Trubisky plan. Like, that's where we are with Baker. Carolina, I don't believe, wants him. I know there was some reporting about that yesterday. I think part of that has to do with the fact that they're stuck with Sam, and that'd be a horrible combination there. I do think going to Seattle would make sense for him. But I also think being a backup some places would make sense for him. And I'll throw one out there that I don't think is crazy. I've heard that they're not interested. But, would you sign Baker Mayfield to a backup deal here in Tennessee? Would you sign him to just a standard backup contract here?
Wow, you think there's nothing more out there for him? That's amazing.
Well, what's out there? Let's if we go through it for real. If you go through it, so we think Seattle's an option. Look, Houston's probably not an option, or else it would have been in the trade. They're probably not interested. Carolina has basically said, no, we're not interested. So what are we talking about?
We're running out of openings. You're right. It's a musical chairs, and there's just not a lot of chairs.
There's not a lot of chairs. And so, in some of these places, because of how Baker is, I think it would actually the teams that would have a better appetite to signing him, I think, are the teams that, they have a quality starter that's not threatened by Baker. So, hey, it's Dallas, instead of their unproven backup. It's Tennessee instead of their unproven backup. It's it's situations like that. Whereas I think if you throw them down into Miami, I think it creates a mess. Now I think it's a true competition in Seattle, and I think they could digest that. But look, maybe he's got to go take Mitch Trubisky's spot in Buffalo, and just, Josh Allen's not threatened. Maybe that's the deal. So, I would just say, find the landing spot.
It's very, very interesting, Tim. Appreciate it as always. Keep up the good work. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll do it again next week.
All right, sounds good. See you, fellas.
Yep. Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN's NFL analyst, our analyst every week as well. Would that be a good place for Baker? Right here, backing up Ryan Tannehill? We'll discuss on the other side. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, March 23rd, we're doing something special. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, shown by Cambridge to repair blood vessels and get rid of ED at its core. If you're ready to put a stop to your erectile dysfunction, call us now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 3 additional treatments to our patients free. This means that if you notice results fading, we'll retreat you free of charge. This is unprecedented and worth $1,000. Call today, Wednesday, March 23rd, and qualify free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Daunic for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto and they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Use the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the 2s and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution. And Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Signs First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Daunic, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
The Titans have been making additions.
The Titans have signed Austin Hooper to a 1-year, $6 million contract.
And subtractions.
So Julio Jones shown the door. Surprise, not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
As free agency is well underway, what's next for the two-tone blue?
You're going to have to make some cuts, and you're going to have to move some money around.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Interact with Darren, Daunic, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Great discussion with Tim Hasselbeck. And, boy, he kind of dropped an interesting nugget on the way out the door. Chris Mason, by the way, to begin the final hour. That's coming up at 1 o'clock. We'll talk pucks with him. Preds in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights tomorrow night, 9 o'clock puck drop. Baker Mayfield. Sounds like the music is about to stop playing, and there may not be a chair for him, at least a starting chair for him. The number 1 pick overall. For year 4? May not have a chair to sit in. A starting chair when the music stops. Pretty hard to believe that this could literally be his option this year. A backup sitting there holding a clipboard.
Well,
wow.
I mean, whether they trade him, which from what Tim said, that's unlikely, to them releasing him, he's still going to get his money from Cleveland.
Yeah. They own, what, $18 million?
Yeah, that's sort of like the good. He knows he's getting 18, 19 million no matter what. Even if he isn't on a team or as a starter, he's still getting that money. I think, too, here is, he's done this to himself in regards to what's been coming out in Cleveland about him, the lack of his leadership, him dividing the locker room. I don't think anyone wants to bring in an individual that has, especially at the quarterback position, really at the quarterback position. They may do it at other positions, and we've seen them do it at other positions. But at the quarterback positions, you can't afford to do that. You can't afford to fracture your locker room and and pitted one guy against the Nets because of your quarterback. Now, if it happens, it better not be because of your quarterback or your head coach, because if that's the case, then one or both are gone, and we've seen it happen. So Baker has caused this lack of opportunities on himself. Now, if he goes to Seattle, which would probably make the most sense if he wants to play right away, then go. Him coming here, I don't know if the Titans would want to, deal with that. They already got somebody
fair question.
Hey, the other guy that went to Atlanta was the greatest leader I've ever played with. And then you bring this guy. It's just you don't want that headache. And I can't see John Robinson and Mike Vrabel even entertaining a situation like that unless, and they just re-signed their backup. Unless they just say, hey, listen, you know what? Only way they do that, I believe, is if they think they truly don't believe Ryan's their guy. That's the only, because they did it with Marcus. When they didn't think, everything was peachy creamy on the outside, but when they brought in Ryan, that told you they really didn't believe that Marcus was the guy. So they bring in Ryan. If they bring in Baker Mayfield, they're saying the same thing. And I don't think they want that image being put out there. So I can't see him here. Tim said it, they have no interest, but he was just saying, he can come to a place like Tennessee and just sit behind Ryan. But you don't want that, because when you did it the last time, the guy you brought in ended up being a starter.
That's true. That's very true. On our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, Nathan says, what about Baker to Tampa?
I thought about that.
How long is Tom going to stay there?
He's got to look 3 or 4 more years.
Yeah. I mean, he did say at one point he's going to play to his 50, right? So,
I thought about that as Tim was talking, because I don't know who their backup quarterback is. But
it's the kid from Kyle Trask.
Well, I mean, it still would be an upgrade.
That looked completely lost.
It still would be an upgrade. And I think if he sat behind somebody like Tom.
Blaine Gabbert, don't they have Blaine Gabbert there too?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the same person that.
Remember Bruce Arians said, Blaine Gabbert's, we're ready to roll with him moving forward. And I said, well, update your resume, Bruce.
So is Baker an upgrade over Blaine Gabbert?
Yeah.
A player-wise, yes.
Yes, of course.
On the field, yes. I don't know about, personality-wise in the locker room. Also, Jeff on our text line said, didn't Pittsburgh say they would jump all over him if he was released by Cleveland?
Now, if I'm Pittsburgh, I think I'd look at that. Is Baker Mayfield not better than Mitch Trubisky?
The talent-wise, yes.
I would say yes. That's got to be a yes.
But
now, there's health. There's health, of course.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new system. I also think this is where a crossroads can happen. There are some quarterback stories. Tannehill is one of them, where you hit this point in your career and you know what? Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Where have I gone wrong? You do a little soul searching. You work on your game, and that next stop is a better stop for you. And even if you have to sit behind the scenes for a year or two, I'm really curious what Marcus Mariota does in Atlanta. We'll see how much he's improved. Is he a better starter than he was a couple of years ago when he lost his job? I think if you look at history, Jim Plunkett, a Rich Gannon, there's guys that the second stop after a little bump in the road is better for one reason or another.
Well, Ryan Tannehill's second stop until until last season in the playoffs has been better.
Not even until last season. If this is all it is for Ryan Tannehill, it's still a good pivot in the middle of a career that was not real memorable. He's had the best years of his career.
Yes, that is correct. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, who's Marcus going to throw to? I mean, what's going to prop him up? I mean, Kyle Pitts may get targeted 25 times a game. I don't know who else he's going to be looking at. So, I mean, yes, do those stories happen? I don't know. I mean, I hope so because I root for Arthur Smith. I don't want to. I mean, it feels like he's like dead man walking because this team clearly looks like a bottom feeder team, this Falcons team.
Well, you got to give him some leeway because you did it to him.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. All right. Come back and continue the discussion. We'll get back to – so there's a lot of people weighing in. We said, well, what's the void for the Chiefs? Well, there's a lot of people throwing out some names, and there's some pretty good ones. We'll discuss that, one of them being a former Titans receiver. But first, Willie, you're going to tell everybody about Lee Company.
I will. Lee Company, 615-567-1000 or leecompany.com. Out here in Vegas, the weather, not a cloud in the sky. Desert, 70 degrees. Back in Nashville, it's starting to get a little bit warmer. So that means the air conditioner is going to be running. So that's a good reminder for you as you start enjoying the warmer months. And those spring sports are cranking up for your kids. The air conditioning unit, have you had it checked in the last year? If you have not, it's a good idea to call Lee Company, 615-567-1000. Have them come out and check it. And for that matter, check out the home maintenance plan where you get the annual checkups of not only your air conditioning, but your heating, your plumbing, and electrical systems. It's called the home maintenance plan. They'll keep you on top of things. They'll find those little problems before they become big problems. You pay a small monthly fee, $10 a month, $12 a month. In exchange for that, you get these checkups, and then you get discounts when the repairs need to be made. It's a good system. It'll save you money over the long term. Lee Company, 615-567-1000 or leecompany.com. Lee Company, proud sponsor, Nashville Predators.
Do you have that one person or thing that just makes you mad? Join us every Friday at noon on the DDC for You Just Made the List. Fueled by Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com, your one-stop petroleum solution, and try Star Movie on the DDC on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You just made the list.
It's watching the top players take the ice. It's hard-fought games that end in victory. It's showing your favorite team to your favorite people. Secure your seats for the 2022-23 Nashville Predators season today to ensure you never miss a game at Bridgestone Arena. Plus, enjoy Nashville locker room discounts, exclusive presale offers, and more. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. Join the Loyal Legion today and paint the town Preds. That's NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
Hey, Robby Stanley here, and you could start your bracket with a bang right now. FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right, you'll get $150 in bonus site credit, and all you got to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet on the bracket is up to you. You can choose from the money line, totals, prop bets, and so much more. Gonzaga still alive. They were my pre-tournament pick to win the whole thing, so I'm riding with Gonzaga. But you take it any way you want to take it. Plus, with cash out, the ball is in your court, so you can close out your bet whenever you want before the game is over. Just join FanDuel today with promo code ROB. Then you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. Once again, that promo code is ROB, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Hey everybody, it's me, Chase McCabe, and I'm so excited to be talking about my go-to drink when I'm out and about, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball is the first and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. It's an original, just like me, the suit. I take Screwball as a shot, but it's great on the rocks, in an old-fashioned, an espresso martini, and many more. So next time you're out and about, ask for Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022, Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Tonight,
The
76ers head to Cali to take on the LA Lakers.
Beautiful feed. Westbrook to James.
Coverage begins at 8:30
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt football head coach Clark Lee. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tomorrow night, if you're looking for a place to hang, to watch the Predators and Golden Knights in Vegas Well, there's a Preds Bud Light watch party at Headquarters Beercade. They'll have drink specials and an opportunity for you to win tickets to an upcoming home game. Headquarters Beercade is located at 114 2nd Avenue South, downtown. Remember, that puck drops at 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. Back here on the DDC, Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and Derek Mason with you. Blockbuster deal in the NFL. Tyreek Hill has been sent to Miami. It's been shipped to South Beach. Huge deal. First, second, and fourth round picks in this year's draft. Fourth and sixth round pick in next year's draft. Then they turn around and they give him the big deal he was looking for. 4 years, $120 million. So what does that mean? How do they fill that void? We are getting some responses on our text line driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com, and I think there's some good ones. In fact, one was pretty interesting from Jason from Mount Juliet that we talked about yesterday with possibly this guy, former Titans wide receiver Julio Jones, going to Indy. What about Julio to Kansas City?
Probably not.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, at this point, Julio Jones is a flyer.
I know. That isn't that interesting? How much it is really like what is I would love to know like what the league like Atlanta, we know how they feel. Now we know how we feel in this market. I wonder how the rest of the league feels though. Is there still a love affair for him because of his name?
Well, I think there's a love affair, but it's a different love affair. It's there's no money attached to it. He's an inexpensive veteran flyer that maybe throw some incentives at, and maybe you hit it big. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle. You get one more or two more great years at a lesser price. But you just can't pay him like a top level receiver anymore.
Well, it's the love affair is this. Before, the love affair was, listen, I want to be in a relationship with you forever. You know, that's and it's like
ever.
We're just, and then you end up breaking up, and then you kind of move on. Both people move on, and then you try to look for another relationship, and it's almost like, I love, but just as a friend, not relationship. You're not relationship type. You're more so a friend type. So I love you as a friend. That's where it's at now. Before he was like long-term relationship status, we're getting married. Now he went from that to, let's just be friends. I love you as a friend now, so that's where Julio's at. They just love him as a friend. And you just don't you just don't do those things with friends that you did, when you were in a relationship. So
you don't go to Morton's.
Exactly. You don't
for
go
a
to Morton's.
steak with your friend.
Exactly. You just go to, grab a taco. Let's go.
on a Tuesday.
Even though I love tacos, believe me, I love tacos, and I'll take a taco just about any
but
day.
you're going to 59-cent taco night on Tuesdays
exactly.
with your friend.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no longer a steakhouse or a nice, dinner, sit-down dinner.
Yeah, you're
nice
not going to Jeff
conversation.
Ruby's.
No. You're sitting at the bar top. Eat tacos.
Right.
Not on piano night.
Watching football games.
The lesson. But that's the lesson learned. You can still have a great night with the 59-cent tacos.
Yeah. If
it goes well. And that's what you're hoping for Julio. They took Julio to the big steakhouse and didn't get the good steak. They didn't have a good experience. Ended up
overcooked. Yeah, overcooked. You had to ask for A1. It just wasn't very good.
Ketchup.
Ketchup. Yeah, there we go. Ketchup. Even better. Troy in Murfreesboro says, what about Jarvis Landry to the Chiefs? What is Jarvis Landry now, by the way? Does he get blamed? Is this all on Baker? Is everything just Baker's fault? What is he today?
Yeah. I think he's a really good number 2.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. He's not a 1.
He's not a 1. He's a number 2. He's more so he fluctuates between a 2 and a 3 because it all depends on where you want him to play. Because I don't think he's an outside guy. He can go out there from time to time, but you can't just say, hey, line up outside and beat your man. He's more of an off-the-ball guy. Put him in a slot, put him in bunch formation, allow his release to be he has a quick release or, a release where no one's in front of him, where he doesn't have to work to get off the line of scrimmage. That's what type of player he is now. Because when he gets open, he's going to catch the football. He has great hands. He's going to catch the football. But I don't think he's that receiver now that he was, a couple of years ago, where you can put him inside, outside. He was going to make a play for you. Now he needs help to get open. But once he gets open, he's going to catch the football.
I'll tell you what looks like a really good deal right now. Cleveland's deal for Amari Cooper looks really good considering all the crazy wide receiver money that's going around. What'd they give him? Like 3 years, $60 million or something?
Yeah, I think they took over the contract from the Cowboys.
From the Cowboys?
Yeah.
I mean, right now, think about what Christian Kirk got. I mean, what we're seeing these receivers get, and Amari Cooper is going to be their number one.
Yeah. Well, if his body holds up.
Well, I understand, but he is a number one receiver.
Well,
that
look
deal
at
looks
what
pretty
happened
good.
last year. With the Cowboys, he kind of got passed over. By the end of the year, he was more of just a spot guy, like a
Well, he was on and off the field.
He had his role.
Yeah, he was on and off the field. Banged up. Yeah, he was banged up.
He was banged up. So, but why do we think that's just all of a sudden going to get better?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Mm-hmm. You don't know, but you can say, well, the guy's young. I don't think
it's not like Amari Cooper's 34.
I think he's, 30?
Is he even 30?
I don't think he's 30. How long was he in Oakland?
He's 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be 28 before the season.
Because Oakland traded him quickly. They only kept him for a few years, 3 years, and then they traded him away to Dallas.
I think what's interesting, now you've got a crowded house in Miami. So my guess is the odd man out is Devontae Parker. And by the way, I think he's a really good receiver. But you're not getting rid of Waddle. You're not getting rid of Hill. And you're not getting rid of Cedric Wilson, who you just signed. So is it Devontae Parker the odd man out? I think he's a pretty darn good receiver. He's a poor man's one, a really, really good two. Quite honestly, if Miami's just willing to part ways with him, like, hey, we need him out of here, the Titans need to be looking at him.
I don't know if
What's his price tag?
I don't know if the Titans are going to, if they would even go down that road, because again, you would have to essentially got to pay him. Whatever. I don't know how much he's making now, or if his contract is on the verge of being up. But I mean, you're gonna have to pay him something. And
I think the Titans have made their move with the Robert Woods.
But then again,
at this point, aren't you just drafting guys to fill around where in their receiver position at this point?
But you can't bring a guy
what you got?
again. Devontae Adams, not Devontae, excuse me. They wish they were getting Devontae Adams. Devontae Parker, he missed 7 games. So, you already got one guy that missed a portion of a season due to an ACL. Do you then want to bring another guy in that's been injured?
Yeah, I got it. Let's go to Ryan.
Is that in the budget? I don't think it's in the budget.
But he's been injury prone just about his whole career.
But he's really good, though, when he's out there.
When he's
but
on the field, yeah.
You're right. Let's go to our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Ryan in Spring Hill. What's up?
Hey, fellas. Thanks for taking my call. I'm a lifelong Miami Dolphins fan, so I'm excited about Tyreek Hill. The problem is he's still going to have Tua throwing him the ball. And, I remember years ago the Dolphins got Mike Wallace, the guy that was the receiver for the Steelers, who Ben Roethlisberger made look. He was the fastest guy in the NFL. He was unstoppable. And he came to Miami. I can't remember which one of the carousel was. Cleo Lemon, maybe, for the Dolphins was throwing him the ball. And you never heard from the guy again.
Cleo Lemon.
Wow. I know. But I'm saying he took the big contract, and he's unstoppable. And you never heard from him again. In fact, I think he ended up, maybe he got traded, to the Ravens a little bit later. But I'm happy for Tyreek. He signs that big contract. But I'm like my friend, you don't have Patrick Mahomes throwing you the ball. You got Mr. Inaccurate, Tua. I'm not a believer yet. I hope he proves me wrong. I would love to see it, but I'm as excited as I am about having Tyreek. I've seen this happen. We get some big names, but at the end of the day, it's the guy that's under center, and I don't think we have our guy under center. So
thank you, Ryan.
I'm excited on one hand, but I hope Tyreek's okay with that. So
I understand. Hey, thanks for the call. And that's why I said this is clearly tick-tock for Tua. It's they've put all the pieces around you. They even brought back the tight end. They've got capable running backs. Like it's on you now. Offensive linemen. Now we're going to find out what Tua is made of with this deal. Now we just talked about the number 2 for the Titans. He spoke today. Remember, they made the trade to get Robert Woods. Pretty interesting what he says on how he got here. We'll play some of that on the other side to close out hour number 3 of the DDC next.
Thursday night.
Duchesne scores! Not Duchesne flooding across to make the save. Zero.
The Predators wrap up their West Coast trip in Vegas against the Golden Knights. Pre-game at 7, face-off at 8 on Smashville's Best Sports Talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Not warming up very much this afternoon. Highs topping out in only the upper 50s and lower 60s. Clouds and the breeze stick around.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
Attention veterans of Middle Tennessee. Little Guys Movers wants to put your hard-earned skills and leadership talent to work with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. Be your own boss and build a team with standards as high as your own, and all while serving your community with the same hustle that you served your country. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Start a fulfilling, profitable new chapter of your life as a member of a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times at LittleGuysFranchise.com. That's LittleGuysFranchise.com.
Smokeville Smoke Shop has been serving Hendersonville and Metro Nashville since 2015 and is committed to providing high-quality, hands-on, and personable customer service. Stop into Smokeville Smoke Shops in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hermitage, and Goodlettsville to try any of their wide selection of locally sourced products and selection of top nationwide brands, including vapes, hookah, hand-blown glass, detox systems, e-juices, kratom products, leaf wraps, and much more. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shops today.
Cheers to you, girl. I know you're excited about the new job.
Oh, thanks so much.
Hey, is that my engagement ring you're wearing?
Don't be silly. Oh, wow. They are identical. How did that happen?
Don't tell me. He went to jail.
Yeah, yours too, I guess.
Wow.
Don't make her settle for one of those cookie cutter rings from the big corporate chain jewelry stores. At Genesis Diamonds, you can get her a stunning one-of-a-kind designer ring, one that's as unique as she is. Genesis has over 4,000 handcrafted rings from world-class designers like Tacori, Viraggio, Henry Dawsey, and others. These are designers that you'll never see in one of those mega corporate stores, but we have them starting at under $1,000. So ladies, don't settle for the ordinary, for a ring that will be yours and yours alone. Make sure he goes to
Genesis Diamonds.
Continuously voted best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Daunic, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 102.5 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Meshing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robby and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's Best Sports Talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Daunic, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
We'll talk to Chris Mason coming up at 1 o'clock. We'll talk about this Predators team on this road trip that ends in Vegas tomorrow night against the Golden Knights. Then they'll come back home Sunday night for a 5 o'clock start against the Flyers. But today, Robert Woods was sworn in as new Titans wide receiver. He spoke to the media, and here's some of what he had to say.
Maybe get you a spot where you might want to go?
Yeah, initially saw the trade of Allen Robinson, or the signing of Allen Robinson coming to the Rams, and about 20 minutes after got the call from Sean McVay. Been in the league a while. I kind of know how it goes. Seeing the contract and the time, and got the call from McVay. Told me that I was getting traded. And first thing my thought is, all right, we got it. Where am I going? Where are the teams? What are the options? He told me that he's gonna let me have a say and impact in my trade, and really just got on the phone, started to talk with my agent, did my research on teams. Got to move fast. Quarterback, staff, being able to talk with past players who've been here, who've played here, and really just give my intake and my feel, and being able to make my decision off of that.
What were the guys that you talked to, and what was it about this place that made you want to come here?
Josh Reynolds was one of them. Antoine Woods, one of them. And really just having a relationship already with Todd Downing and Rob Moore, being with them in Buffalo. Derrick Henry, obviously, Tannehill, A.J. Brown, obviously a top-performing team, Coach of the Year. Being able to join this team and this organization, I think, was beneficial for my career, knowing how the league works and how you want to win games. You want to be able to be a balanced team, and I think this organization, this team, being able to feed off of the ground game, having a quarterback who delivered the ball, having another threat on the opposite side, and obviously being able to bring my game and compliments to this team, I think was the best fit for my game. No, you're good.
Such a team guy. You talk about the teammates that you're leaving and what they said about you. How much did culture play into your decision making and just the culture that they have here with the Titans?
Yeah, big. You want to be in an organization who's obviously kind of like solidified, solid, not much movement around. This team has been in the playoffs, been consistent for many years. So I wanted to join something that was firm and solid, and be able to add my game to it. And obviously, you want to be a part of a winning culture. You want to be a part with guys who try hard and bust their butt for their teammates. Talked to Roger Saffold as well, and really just was trying to get my intake on the locker room and guys, and they told me this was the right organization. Even getting the feel on Byard and Simmons up front.
Rob, what's the state of your knee in terms of the timetable for your return? And with suffering that injury last year, how much does it kind of drive you to get back? Because even though you got a Super Bowl ring, you didn't get to play in the playoffs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, there's already a lot of motivation, despite the knee. Just being here, being traded, winning the Super Bowl, not being able to play, and then joining an organization that's right there. Could have been there last year. My goal is to win it back-to-back. And really just for my knee had a clean tear, fortunately. Nothing else involved with it, and really just trying to get back as fast as I can, and healthy, obviously. But no timetable, just right on track, getting strong, getting my strength, and when the team is ready for me to be out there, I'll be ready to go.
First significant injury of your career, what was it like when you knew you were going to be out an extended period of time there?
Yeah, it shocked me. Obviously, I was running with the ball, tried to make a cut, fell down, went to the other field, ran, cut, jogged, and thought I was fine. And then when I got the news that it was a tore ACL, it was shocking. Didn't know that it was that. And obviously, as a receiver, you get that injury, you're like, oh no, it's coming to an end. And then literally just being able to recover and feel good, knowing that it wasn't that serious, is thrilling for me just to be able to come back. I feel like I'm in the middle of my career. So really just my thing is just getting back as strong as I can, pick back up where I left off and add some more strength and power to this knee.
Robert, over the course of your career, you're known as one of the better run-blocking receivers in the game. Maybe where does kind of that pride in that element of the game come from? And why is that kind of a big part of what you do?
Yeah, we always talk about playing without the ball. Being able to learn that in the league and being involved, it's kind of like, I don't know, involved, move around. You can't just be standing there. It's kind of like the same thing in football. You can't be watching the play. And I feel like just being involved in the game, staying in tune, being able to get your running back free on the big runs, who turn it down on the opposite side of the ball and don't want to be a part of that. And when you set the tone and you set the force, you're the one in control, and you're in control of the game.
Robert, I mean, how much do you feel like you're a good fit for this team with how they play and kind of your mentality to begin with?
Great. I mean, you obviously want to be a physical team. They are that. You have a physical running back. You have a physical receiver, 2 of them now. And being able to just set the tone throughout the game, it's a long season. Being able to be in many seasons, I know it's you got to be durable. You got to be physical. You got to impose your will on teams. And with Coach Braves and how they play, it's definitely the mindset that I have. And we're going to do that 60 minutes, all 4 quarters, every single game.
There you go. Newest Titans wide receiver, Robert Woods. Some of what he said to the media today. And pretty interesting. Sounds like he's a stand-up guy. When you hear him say that he saw the Allen Robinson deal where they gave him the big money, so he's like, oh, okay, we've got Cooper Kupp. Now paid Allen Robinson big bucks. Probably realized at that point, he's been in the league for a while, writing on the wall for me, torn ACL, and that Sean McVay called him up and said, we want to do you right, though. We just don't want to trade you anywhere. Where would you like to go? Maybe put together some teams. You just don't do that for anybody. Derek, jump in there. Tell me if ever. I doubt that is, business as usual for everybody. A lot of players are just like, yeah, well, sorry. We're going to move you and get whatever we can for you. Sounds like they really like this guy because the fact they're willing to go to him and say, okay, give us some landing spots and we'll see if we can make a deal happen where, you can be happy too.
Well, it speaks volumes for the organization. And for what they think about Robert Woods, when you see that come across, you know you're being traded because they believe highly in Robinson. Obviously, Cooper Kupp is their number 1 guy, but then Jefferson came on last year as well, so they are looking at Jefferson like the sky's the limit for this guy, and Robert Woods and Odell Beckham for that. To say, more names, they're the odd guys out. It's unfortunate that he had an ACL and he couldn't finish the season. Had he finished the season, I think he would still be there. But, the organization just wanted to do right by him, considering, they know that had he not gotten injured, he would still be on that team. So they wanted to make sure that, we're going to trade you. We may have some teams in mind, but if your agent has a few more, get them to us, and we can see what we can work out. Luckily, it didn't cost any team much to get him.
At least the Titans. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's about as easy of a deal for a guy that's got the upside as he does that you're ever going to see, right? A 6th-round pick.
Yeah. Well, it all depends.
The Rams paid a lot of dead money.
Yeah,
that too.
Yeah.
Well, the Rams wasn't keeping him. They knew they wasn't getting a lot for him.
Yeah.
And they just didn't want to let him go. They wanted to get something back, a 6th-round pick. But I want to say this. The next time somebody asks about a wide receiver about blocking in a press conference like that, please think about your question again. Think about it. Robert Woods, blocking for any receiver is a want to. You want to block, you will block. You don't want to block, you're not going to block. Don't let that be your question. Talk about him catching the football, because if he's a hell of a blocker and dropping passes, you know where he's going to be? On the bench, okay? So please stop asking about the damn block. Oh, you're a great and they didn't bring me here to block. They brought me here to catch passes and score touchdowns. Blocking is a byproduct. Yes, we want you to block, but if you ain't catching touchdowns and catching passes, getting open, I don't care how good you are of a blocker. You better gain about 100 pounds, and we'll put you at the center position.
Hot button alert.
God,
hot button alert.
That was just, man, that was, stop asking that question to a wide receiver, because they really don't want to hear it.
All right.
Gosh.
Let's get D. Mason ice
don't
back.
Don't ever ask a wide receiver about blocking. Okay.
And a bucket of water. We'll come back. Final hour. We start with Chris Mason. We'll talk hockey with him next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We're offering some exciting new menu items. We have Grandma's famous chicken and dumpling soup. We're offering a fun and new exciting Nashville hot battered shrimp. We're also very excited about our confit chicken hash. Join us in Kitchen Notes for our award-winning patty melt made with our house-made pimento cheese, local Blackhawk Farms beef patty. Come join us in Kitchen Notes and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Lunch at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
It's that time of year again as college basketball's tournament is finally upon us. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, BetOnline.net is the #1 source for sports betting needs and info. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Since their doors opened in 1898 in England, Arkansas, Bank of England Mortgage has been providing down-home exceptional service. Bank of England's success is due to the talent of their loan officers and their access to hundreds of mortgage products at the industry's best pricing. Bank of England Mortgage has 3 Middle Tennessee locations ready to serve you. Go to BOE1214.com or call 615-823-1215. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters, so make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Daunic, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Daunic, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
It's time! Shot broken up in front, and what a slick backhand try right in front of Chris Mason. And now the quick pass down the middle, breaking in, and the backhand stopped by Chris Mason. And Marlowe with a 2-on-1, a 3-on-1, and what a stop by Mason. Chichu right in front, and what a stop on Ekman by Mason.
And goal, number 3, Chris Mason.
We are Chris Mason every Wednesday on the program, brought to you by Coleman Tractor, Middle Tennessee's leading Kubota dealer. C. Mace now joins us in Vegas, where Willie is. Predators and Golden Knights tomorrow night, 9 o'clock puck drop. They'll have their coverage starting at 8:30 on Bally Sports. We'll have our coverage here starting at 8 o'clock on the radio side here tomorrow night as they round out this road trip tomorrow night. See, Mace, what happened in Anaheim? Have you ever had that happen where you were sitting on the bench for a bulk of the game and all of a sudden there's a blade issue, skate malfunction, something's going on with the starting goaltender, and all of a sudden you've got to jump over the wall and you've got to go in there and replace them for 44 seconds. Maybe you did, obviously you didn't do it for that time frame, but have you ever had anything like that happen before?
Yeah, absolutely. When guys get injuries or something like that, and you're sitting on the bench and, the game's going the way it is and you think there's no chance you're going in, all of a sudden, boom. It's like an instant shot of adrenaline. So, I didn't know what happened at first, but you saw David Riddick there, especially when it's in the third period. You're sitting there for 2.5 hours and all of a sudden you got to go in and, it's like a jolt of adrenaline for sure.
Give us the trade secrets on goalies. Like, what are some tips you can do? UC was trying to, basically get them to blow the whistle. It's like, come on, I got something going on here. I need play to stop so I can address this. There are goaltenders that if they need play to stop and they don't feel like they're going to get the whistle, they could do something on their own to make it stop. So what are a couple tricks of the trade to do that?
Well, one is the old one is you push the net off or you take your helmet off. Now guys are doing that and they get the whistle to blow. But it's a helpless feeling. Obviously, Saros is trying to get the attention. And I don't know the rules on that, to be honest, if it's a skate malfunction or an equipment thing, if they can actually stop the game. But usually it used to be just guys would put the net off and they give them some time, the ref would blow the whistle. So it's a moment of panic, though, that's for sure. Especially when it's your skate. There's nothing you can do. We don't normally see, Saros get fired up too much, but he wanted that whistle in a hurry. He couldn't push out on his left skate.
You have certainly been, in fact, you're probably wearing a Roman Josi button right now on your shirt or your jacket. You have been campaigning, rightfully so, and we've all been discussing the captain's play this year. Hopefully the national media is listening and taking notice to what he's doing, because everything you're throwing out there is 100% true, and I get it. Makar is on the shiny team that's basically the best team in hockey, so usually they get a bump. But when you watch Roman Josi night in and night out like we do, you realize he's doing something really, really special at his position.
Yeah, this is a tough year because actually Willie and I were talking on the plane last night, or on the bus, sorry, and it's both of these guys honestly deserve to win it. They're both having historic seasons, and it's one of those things where someone that loses this award or doesn't win it deserves to win it, and it's really tough. But the thing that I guess frustrates me is, and as you mentioned, when there's a certain narrative that happens in the middle of the season, and obviously Cale Makar, he's going to win a handful of these awards down the road. He may win this year, but it's tough to change that, and it's tough to change what people think. And once it catches fire, everyone's kind of regurgitating the same stuff over and over and over again, and it's tough to change that narrative. But what Willie and I and the broadcast team and Jacob Underwood are trying to do is just change the narrative. Just look at this from a different perspective. Obviously, Cale Makar's got the highlight reel goals, and you mentioned the shiny team there in Colorado that gets a lot more national play than the Predators do. But once you start introducing, hey, look at it from this angle, or look at the zone entries in this part of the game, and obviously Roman Josi's got the points, and it's hard to believe that Makar is still the guy that everyone thinks should win the award. And when Hockey Night in Canada was here, when the Toronto Maple Leafs game, Chris Cuthbert actually came up to Willie and I and said, you know what, I thought when you guys were, blowing the Roman Josi horn that you guys were crazy. And then I started to listen to what you're saying in the graphic that you put up, and he's like, and now I think it should be Roman Josi. So it does work, and I think it's effective to get that information out there, especially guys that have credibility in the business and have a voice. And it's obviously the Professional Hockey Writers Association, I think, that votes for this award. So these guys have reputations on it. It makes them look smarter if they have more information to tell the whole story.
Yeah, sometimes it's just awareness, making sure everybody has access to the numbers that tell the story, so you have the whole story. So, Mace, it has been heavy travel here. The group's in Vegas. Unfortunately, Chase McCabe has not made it out here. We were making fun of him earlier as he was heading for the airport. He's coming to the game tomorrow against the Golden Knights. But there is a broadcast gathering, I believe, that I'll be heading to meet you after the show here. Can you describe your surroundings right now, and will there be a cannonball post-interview today?
Well, there has been the tease of a cannonball by none other than Hal Gill, obviously. And I'm in the cabana place right now. Lindsay and Hal are in the pool, and there's sports, these giant, I've never seen anything like it. Giant TVs with sports all over, some betting lines on the side, and we're getting, obviously, Tyreek Hill got traded today, and got the baseball, tennis, golf. We got it all here. It's going to be a blast. Can't wait to get here.
Okay, so I'm told, and this is I don't have this confirmed, but there is a possibility at this place that is a sports book. Darren, you'll love this. Betting on spring training baseball.
With a number attached to it. You may want to call because you have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. That's tough. That takes a lot of courage to do that. Or maybe stupidity, or you got a gambling problem, which is not good.
Oh, boy. So let's turn our attention to the game tomorrow night. The Vegas Golden Knights in a really interesting spot here. It is one of the craziest stories of the season. And all the wheeling and dealing that they've done has gone side by side with a ton of injuries. And all of a sudden, they're a desperate team that's below the playoff line for the first time all year long. And they've played more games than anybody else. So I think the word desperate is going to be used a lot tomorrow when we get to the rink.
Absolutely. And I think, in a way, maybe that's how the Predators, they thrive on that. And it's been really, I think, frustrating the last couple of games is the starts to the game have just not been there. And, what happened last night could have easily happened in Anaheim had Saros not been incredible on the first 10, 15 minutes of that period. So, you can sometimes win or lose the game in those moments. And I think they lost it in LA because of that. It was tough to, the team's always going to battle back, and I respect that a lot about them. They never quit, they never give up, and all those things, which is really good. But, at the end of the day, that start, that 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, that could dictate the outcome of the game, whether you play, the next 50 minutes better than, LA or whoever it is. So to me, that start is going to be absolutely massive. And you mentioned Vegas is desperate. They're desperate. Winnipeg's back in it now. It's Dallas is got the games in hand on Vegas. Everybody does, and they're the big. They went out and traded some good players to get Jack Eichel, and it hasn't worked out, and they've had a lot of injury issues, and they haven't been good since he's been back in the lineup. So this is a team that's definitely real, and the Preds are going to have to be ready. And I maybe think that's a good thing for the Preds going into this game, and they need it because you don't come out hard in Vegas and give up a couple early goals. It could be game over.
Well, and the other thing, Mace, as we wrap this up, you got the defense core, which has to be a big concern. Of course, last night the overall performance wasn't good, but when you just look at positionally, Dante Fabro out. They lost Mark Borowiecki during the game last night. Not sure what his status is. And then, of course, Matthias Ekholm flying in the day of a game. Hopefully he'll be better tomorrow night. And then the new guy in Jeremy Lauzon. So a lot to juggle on the blue line right now.
Yeah, I honestly wonder if Ekholm was going to play had Fabro not been out. It's tough, as you mentioned. There's a lot of issues there, and that's why the Lauzon trade was made, because this is going to happen at this point in the season, and you've got some guys obviously in Milwaukee that you trust and that you think are good players or will be good players, but are you willing to risk that as who you put in the lineup for the last 20 games of the season? You need that depth. And right now, you start with the mix and match in. They're playing 5 D-men last night, and it was tough. So they got some issues there, and hopefully that'll get sorted. I'm not sure if we'll see a recall here or what the situation's going to be with all the guys, but that's when you can never have enough at that position. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, tomorrow.
Chris, try to make the most of it today. Hope you guys can, fight through everything and be ready for tomorrow night. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Dina. It'll be tough. It'll be tough, but we'll do our best.
You'll be in our thoughts, okay? Our thoughts.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, C-Mace. All right, Chris Mason, every Wednesday, toughing it out in the cabana.
He was a rager behind him, wasn't he?
Vegas poolside. Skillsy's doing cannonballs, so he's probably going, hey, everybody, I've got a very important announcement to make. Cannonball.
Everybody was probably on the other side like, come on, hurry up, C-Mace.
I know. You know they were waving.
What are you doing? Get off the phone.
They're like slapping their wrists like, tick-tock, tick-tock, let's go.
Oh, man.
Chris
Get off
Mason.
the cell phone.
We got spring training in 20 minutes. Who do you want? The Padres. Okay.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow. Chris Mason, brought to you by Coleman Tractor, Middle Tennessee's leading Kubota dealer. We'll come back. We'll talk about this Preds team tomorrow night in Vegas against the Golden Knights before returning home as, gosh, we're about done with March, and we're going into the final month of the regular season. We'll do that next here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Daunic, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Hi guys, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, March 23rd, we're doing something special. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy, shown by Cambridge to repair blood vessels and get rid of ED at its core. If you're ready to put a stop to your erectile dysfunction, call us now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces immediate results in the bedroom. And today only, we're offering 3 additional treatments to our patients free. This means that if you notice results fading, we'll retreat you free of charge. This is unprecedented and worth $1,000. Call today, Wednesday, March 23rd, and qualify free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as your Nashville Predators take on the Vegas Golden Knights this Thursday. Puck drops at 9 p.m., but the party starts at 8:30 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Hey, it's Mark Howard here. You've heard me talk about my friends at Apple Collision Centers for a while now, and today I'm here with CEO Stan Harrison to tell you about how they can help ease your stress with your auto body repair.
That's right, Mark. We have 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Our people are homegrown right here in Middle Tennessee with over 75 years experience. We can help with all your auto body repair needs.
So stop by and see Stan and his team today and tell them Mark sent you, or visit them online at applecollisioncenters.com.
The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the Game at 615-737-1025.
Hi, I'm Yussi Saros. And this is Smashville.
Now here's a try off to the side. What a stop made by UC Saros there.
Unreal. You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Interact with Darren, Daunic, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Another chance tomorrow morning at 8:45. Preds pick to click. You know that's how it works during the week on game days. You're going to call into the morning show. And if you get chosen, you're going to pick a Predators player to score a goal that night. And if it happens, you score yourself some tickets to a future home game. Remember, that's tomorrow morning at 8:45. That's brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. Back here on the DDC, or is it the DVC? What is it? Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and Derek Mason with you. And this Predators team going into Game 65 tomorrow night in Vegas against the Golden Knights. Dealing with some stuff. You had Dante Fabro out of the lineup last night. Matias Ekholm missed a game. in Anaheim rushed into the game last night. Mark Borowiecki, he's been back for a game or two, and then he gets banged up last night early in the second period. It looked bad, but John Hines said after the game he's okay, but really didn't have any update. I don't know what that means moving forward. They've traded for some depth pieces. Lauzon has played 2 games now for them. I guess let's just start there. What do you make of anything stand out? One, I know it's a very small sampling. 2 games, Jeremy Lauzon on this road trip. What are your early thoughts?
My early thoughts are that he's probably had to play more in a bigger role than they anticipated right off the bat. So he's been thrown into a very tough situation. You know what's interesting is the more I look at the analytics people and their opinion of Jeremy Lauzon, it's all the same, that he does not score very well in the analytics categories. Now, if you look at some other things that are not as attractive to analytics, like physicality, hits, things like that, he does score very well. They gave up a second-round pick to get him, and they really feel like David Poile was adamant that this is not just a guy they want for this year, that they see him as a guy at age 24 that has a lot of upside and will improve and will be a good fit. And you don't give up a second-round pick unless you really feel strongly about that. So whether he had said that or not, I think it speaks for itself. He's under team control. In other words, he can't become an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So he'll be a pretty cheap re-up, if you will, which is attractive to any team. But in the meantime, the real question is, what can he give them? Because he's got to play. He's got to play big minutes, because I don't know how long Fabro's going to be out, but he's going to be out tomorrow. Don't know about Borowiecki. I guess I was encouraged that John Hines said he's okay, because that looked like it could be really bad. Like when he basically stopped. You know, he tried to skate away after he collided with the end boards. He got sort of snapped back into the end boards, and he got to the front of the net, and he just kind of keeled over. And I was thinking, boy, you just don't see that. Like right in a dangerous area like that, he just kind of said, I can't keep moving. So I don't know if he can bounce back and play tomorrow, but the depth is being tested, and so Lauzon, they're really fortunate that they got him, but how quick can he acclimate and give them good minutes?
All right, I've got a question to ask, because I don't understand this. I'm very confused, and so help me with this. So NHL Public Relations tweeted out. Now, this was last night. I get it, and they're getting it from the stat sheet, right, that we're all looking at. But they tweeted out the Los Angeles Kings have scored an even strength goal, a power play goal, and a shorthanded goal in the first period of a game for the 4th time in 20 years. And then they list the other 3 times they did it. And they're referencing last night's game. Now, because you know how this works, Willie. They put stuff up, and, you know, you have to refresh every once in a while because they make changes, right? They award goals to players that they change, or assists they change. Sometimes they put up power play goal, they change. And so I kept refreshing all night because they had Kalyev's goal in the second goal in the first period as a power play goal the entire night. And I remember what happened. It was a delayed penalty. Jonathan Quick was beginning to skate off the ice. I don't even think there wasn't even an extra attacker at that point, I don't think. And LA scored that goal. And then they started the power play after that. And so I kept wondering, like, they're going to change this. And so I never once called it a power play goal last night. I kept refreshing. They never changed it. The NHL tweeted that out.
Yeah.
What am I missing?
It was a power play goal.
What? Why is it a power play goal?
Because there was already a power play going when the delayed penalty happened.
There was?
Yeah.
No, I thought Granlund was getting hit with the penalty.
He was
it Granlund?
But there was a previous penalty that was going on. In fact, that was what was frustrating, is they were easily killing off the first power play, and then all of a sudden it was going to be a 5-on-3. and then it was a delayed penalty on Granlund. That's when the goal happened.
Okay, I've got to go back and look at that. I don't know where am I did not real. Okay, all right. I mean, that
Colton
makes a
Sissons
ton
got
of
the
sense.
cross check. Colton Sissons called for cross check at 5:11.
I thought that had died off. Oh, okay. Egg on my face. I don't know why I thought that penalty was over.
Well, it was close to being over, and so that was what was interesting is that the penalty for Granlund still was assessed.
Right.
Because Colton Sissons was coming out of the box, so Granlund had to go back into the box. If it was just a 5-on-5 goal on a delayed penalty, the guy doesn't go into the box. So that was
the
interesting.
Sissons cross check so that was finishing up. Okay. All right, good. At least I have peace of mind with that. I was driving myself crazy. Like, why do they still have that listed as a power play goal? All right, that makes a ton of sense. So thank you for clearing that up. All right, let's get back to what we were talking about, as I just sidetracked us for nothing. That could have been pretty easily figured out. I don't know why I thought that penalty was up, and I could not figure out why. I think I was just obsessed with they were calling the penalty a penalty on Granlund. And I knew the extra attacker wasn't out there, and I was like, why do they keep awarding that a power play goal? Anyway, all right. Dang it! I hate when that happens.
Shake it off, man. It's
over.
over.
Yeah, it's over. Come on now.
I know, but you just now I got to live with that for a couple plays, right? I mean, it's like, dang it!
You got to have
no better. That was so stupid.
Hey, short memory in this business, man. Come on.
If I was at the cabana, I could blame it on the cabana.
Yep.
Hey, where they are right now, you can blame everything where they are.
Darren, hurry up. Come on.
I was distracted. Unfortunately, I wasn't distracted here. You guys could have been distracted where you've been on this road trip. All right. So what do they do? How do they, how does this thing, you think, play out moving forward? And if bodies are going to be out, who else? Tennyson has been in. So how do you think they're going to use? And do you think because of that loss, as we've talked about so many times, do they make a change? Do they change, switch some things up? Coaches, John
Well, they
Hines?
just made a change. I mean, that's the thing. They just put Tennyson in and basically demoted Phil Myers and traded for Jeremy Lauzon. So these are the guys. I think there's a chance if Borowiecki is hurt that you might see Davies get recalled, but we're a long way away. He just left.
What do you think they like about Tennyson more than Davies? I thought Davies played pretty good.
Well, Tennyson's experienced. He's played
a
lot longer in the league. He's older. I think his game is simple, but he didn't have a good game last night. I thought he had some turnovers, and he got exposed a little bit. Hopefully it's just a one-game thing. Look, you can have a bad game. But I think the pairs and everything were just off last night for all those reasons. And it wasn't a night where they could make up for it with making a lot of plays. The forwards, there have been some games where they've given up 3 or 4 goals, but they've been bailed out because Yossi, Forsberg, Duchesne, they make enough plays to overcome it. And last night was not one of those nights. Now 6-1 really isn't indicative. It's a 3-1 game going into the third. And then you had a turnover that turns right around and becomes a 2-on-1 the other way.
Yep.
Dead goal, 4-1. Then they pull the goalie, and then there was a weird goal that happened. That's one of those bad beats if you went over-under. I don't know what the over-under was last night, Darren. I would imagine it was, I don't know, probably 6.5 or 5.5. That weird goal at the end of the game where it's after an empty net goal. So the game's over. David Riddick comes back into the game. He tries to clear a puck up the boards. He's out of the net, and it gets intercepted and put back in. That might have hit the over for somebody. So that might have been a Scott Van Pelt bad beat. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I didn't look. I don't know if that's a 6.5 game. I'm not sure, Willie. Those are rare. I mean, typically it's a Colorado
not as
game.
rare.
It's
not
a Colorado
as rare.
game, a Florida game. I didn't look. So look, I've already, Could there be a mistake too in this segment? Sure, yeah. I've already been mistake prone. I've already had one drop this segment, but I didn't see what the over one. I'm just going on looking at them in the back. It's pretty rare to see it, but you're right. It's becoming more and more commonplace in the league because of all the scoring. Yes,
there's more goals being scored,
but usually even 6 is still a good high number as an over. But it may have been 6.5.
My point is 4-1.
It was the over.
6-1.
Yeah, it became the over
quick.
No matter what. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the Predators have to regroup. The good thing is they have done a good job of, after they have a stinker, bouncing back with a strong effort the next game. They'll have to lean on that, but they're going to have to sort out the defense pairs because you've got the new guy, you've got injured guys. Do you call up Davies? Do you need to call up Davies? Or will it be the same 6? What are you going to get from Tennyson going forward? He gave him a nice lift, right? They were the games Tennyson had played, handful of games, 3 or 4? He was productive in all of them. But it is a little different when you go on the road, and, there's a reason he's been in the minors more than he's been in the majors the last couple years of his career. So what kind of mileage can you get out of him?
Come back. Robert Wood said he talked to some people before coming here, before putting the Titans on his list to possibly be traded to. We're going to hear that and discuss on the other side. But right now I'm going to discuss Wager. You've heard me for weeks now talking about them, and it is that time. Hey, they're about to get cranked up again tomorrow night. The NCAA tournament, they're going to whittle this thing to 4 by the weekend, and it's time for me to do another Wager user shout-out. Shout-out to @Pharaoh. Yep, betting against me on Golden State versus Orlando game last night, and for funding my account by taking the L. And, yeah, that's what we do. Talk smack, right? And by the way, I got off to a rough start, but I'm just going to put it out there. My record right now on Wager is 35-27. Yeah, I've got 35 wins, 27 losses. That's not bad. And I got another win last night. But appreciate the Bet Pharaoh for jumping on that. I'll be putting out some more. I've been having a blast with these wagers, connecting with the 102.5 The Game community. For those who don't know, I'm talking about this cool new app, Wager, W-A-G-R. Rather than placing a bet against the sportsbook, Wager let you send bets directly to other people right here in the state of Tennessee. It can be your friends. It can be your coworkers. It can be me, as you just heard. As you can tell, I've been doing a lot of bets with you guys, and I appreciate that. And thanks to Wager, I didn't have to go chase anyone down. I had to go chase Pharaoh down. Yeah, the money, when I beat him, it's there. And how nice is that? Also, you can smack talk, as I said on there, follow other users and see what other people are wagering on. It's really, really cool. And I'm sending out more. Hopefully, you'll be accepting more. And if you send me some, I'll accept some wagers as well. I do that every day. So if you want to try and make some money off me, download the app in your phone's browser at wager.me/DMAC. Join the 102.5 The Game crew, and let's wager. Again, that's wager, WAGR.me/DMAC, D-M-A-C. Today's wagers will be going out soon, so jump on it. As always, if you have to be 21 years of age or older to play. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-889-9789.
Here they come, turn 4, final lap.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Join me for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8, and you can hear some of the big names in racing, like Denny Hamlin.
I always like to undersell and overdeliver.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
It would be amazing to watch a Cup race compete there again.
Kevin Harvick.
I think we learned a lot.
And several others. It's Chasing Checkers every Sunday at 8 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing. Social Furniture on the West Side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social. They have all the best brand mattresses, sofas, recliners, love seats, sectionals, coffee tables, and more with no waiting. They will deliver it the same day. That's with everything at Social Furniture. Enjoy new furniture now with no waiting. Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
This hour of sports brought to you by FlexCar.com. They get it. You need a car but don't want to commit to the ordeal of car ownership. Problem solved. FlexCar has the perfect vehicle for whatever your needs are without the hassles of being tied down to years of car payments. So FlexCar, your next car at FlexCar.com.
If you snore, it may be a sign of a more serious, possibly life-threatening condition. Most people think of snoring as a nuisance, but it's a much more serious medical condition than you think. Snoring has been associated with chest pain, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, chronic pain, obesity, headaches, and sore throat. Take a listen to what some of our patients are saying about the revolutionary Vivo system.
Right after I started using it, I noticed the results really, especially with the snoring. My sleep apnea episodes are a fraction of what they were before. This product's phenomenal. It changed my life.
I am 100% happy that I did this, and I'm thankful every day that I had it.
If you're curious about our sleep devices, call now for a sleep consultation. Don't let your spouse have to sleep in the guest room, and don't risk the severe health complications of snoring and sleep apnea.
Dr. Kelly Rice is certified to provide the Vivo system to open the airway for a better night's sleep. Call 615-373-4488 or go to BrentwoodSleepApnea.com to see which therapy can work best for you.
Individual results may vary. Always seek the advice of your health provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
Tickets are on sale now to see the Nashville Sounds in Hit City this summer. Opening day is April 5th. Get ready to spend your nights at First Horizon Park all season long. There's something for everyone, from weekly giveaways to theme weekends and fireworks shows. Tickets at NashvilleSounds.com.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pekka Rinne. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
The guys that you talked to, and what was it about this place that made you want to come here?
Josh Reynolds was one of them. Antoine Woods, one of them. And really just having a relationship already with Todd Downing and Rob Moore, being with them in Buffalo. Derrick Henry, obviously, Tannehill, A.J. Brown, obviously a top-performing team, Coach of the Year. Being able to join this team and this organization, I think, was beneficial for my career.
Newest Titans wide receiver Robert Woods speaking with the media today here in town. He talked to Josh Reynolds about coming here. A guy that wanted out.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Saffold, who's been cut. Antoine Woods, he gone. Pretty interesting. You know, who you talk to. I've always wondered how that works, because typically I would think you're talking to guys that are on the roster, but he's talking to a lot of guys that, and I realize Roger Saffold, there's nothing's changed really, other than he's not currently on the roster, but he played through to the end. But I perked up. I was like, wow, you talked to Josh Reynolds, the guy that wanted out of here, and sounds like he got an endorsement. Couldn't have been that unhappy. Just saying. He sounds like a good guy. In fact, we had a couple people on our text line say that he sounds like a good guy, that they were impressed listening to the little bit that we played of him talking today. And I think it's safe to say he is a good guy. We know he's a good receiver. He's a good guy because typically organizations don't owe you anything. If they move on without you, they're just going to cut you, or they're going to trade you to the highest bidder. Instead, they came to him and said, who do you want to go to, and we'll see if we can make a deal work.
Yeah, if he doesn't succeed, I don't think it's going to be because of his makeup. I think he really does have a great reputation. I loved how he handled himself in that press conference. He had his answer ready when Teron asked that question. Man, he listed a bunch of stuff.
Sure
did.
He?
I mean, he went right down the list. It's all about the knee. How quick can he? Now, that was something, Derek, that he was not committal, and that was smart. I think we saw with Bud Dupree. He made the mistake of just making it, I'm going to be ready for opening day. And the reality was it just wasn't ready yet. It took him a while. He probably would have been better served to wait a little longer before he tried to give it a go. He might have been at his highest level quicker that way. So Bobby Trees, he was like, hey, no timetable. It's going to be ready as quick as it can. But I think we need to sort of hedge our bets as to whether he'll be ready to go at the beginning of the season.
Well, you don't want to put that out there that, oh, I'll be ready. And then, you may be ready physically. You may be ready in the physical form, like you're out there, but you're not ready to be at the level you were at before you got injured. And if you go out there and say, I will be ready, fans and everyone will take that as, oh, he's ready physically, mentally, everything. So he goes out there and things are not going well, then everybody's going to point to, well, he said he was going to be ready, and he's, judging by what's going on, he's really not ready. So he didn't want that to be hanging over his head or try to rush back to prove a point. This is going to take some time, and he's going to come back as fast as he possibly can, but you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're trying to please everyone else except your body. You're trying to please the fans or the media people or the organization when, in fact, your body's telling you, I'm not ready yet. Don't do it. I'm not ready yet. Then you find yourself in a position where you're going to be sitting more than you're playing, or your play dips tremendously.
Why wouldn't week 1 be realistic?
It's an ACL. You just never know, man.
So Jeffrey Simmons tore his in February.
You just never know.
It took him about the halfway point. Then he came back. Odell Beckham did his in February, so clearly he's going to miss probably half of a season.
But was Jeffrey Simmons the same player during that whole process than he was a year later? He was a much better player, explosiveness-wise, a year later than he was when he was coming off the injury.
Well, but those were also his first ever games in the NFL. That was going to take time anyway, right?
But you didn't see the explosiveness early on because he was still working through an injury.
I thought we were pretty impressed by Jeffrey Simmons his rookie year.
You didn't see, toward the latter part of his rookie year, you were when he really started to get healthy.
Right, but that's 3 months later after the Woods when he did it. He did it in early November.
Everybody's different.
Exactly, and you don't know how the tear was for him than what it is for Robert Woods and what it is for Odell Beckham. We just don't know. Some people it takes a while to come back. I mean, ask Taylor Lewan. He blew out his knee. It took him a whole year to be, for us to say, okay, it looks as if he's over the injury. Because when he came back, there was still he's not the same Taylor Lewan. Even throughout the whole season, he's not the same Taylor Lewan.
Yeah. So there's two issues. It's when do you first become available to play? And then B, when are you playing the way that you hope you're going to be playing? Bud Dupree went through all the stages, right? He came back too early, had to shut it down. There was a period of time where he was playing, but he was not making a big impact. And then by the end of the year, you started to see, this guy, this is what they signed up for. This is what they were hoping for. But it took a long time to get there.
That's why they're going to have to draft another receiver.
Well, I agree with you. But what's interesting is John Robinson has been willing to gamble. There's kind of this, why is this guy available? Well, because he's got a pretty major injury. But he's available for a 6th-round pick. I'll take the risk. Why is Jeffrey Simmons available at that spot in the first round? He's injured. Plus, they had the other thing that they vetted very carefully. But they're like, I can get this guy here. I think there's a thing with the small schools too. I think he's willing to say, why is this guy available? Because he went to a small school. I'm willing to take the risk. Farley is another one. Why is he available? I'd have him graded higher, but he's down here available at this moment because he's coming off of an injury. He's got injury issues. He's willing to take the gambles. Some have really panned out. Others have not. So this is the latest in a line of these things. And I think they're banking on Robert Woods, his makeup. He's going to work hard. He's going to get back to 100%. But we just won't know what he's going to look like. I'll give you another. Kenny Britt. Kenny Britt looked like he was starting to come around as a really good receiver. He was dominating some games. Then he tore his ACL. He was never the same.
For a receiver, when you tell that ACL, man, it's hard. You got to work extremely hard to come back and be what you once were. That's just the nature of the position in the sports. Just like running back, if you tear that ACL or do something to that foot or ankle, man, it's going to take a lot. And you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot rush it back, because if you do, we're going to be on these airwaves, and everybody that's cheering, they're going to say, why did he go get an injured player? Why? That's what they're going to say.
Yep.
You know? So I think the talent is there. He's proven that the talent is there. But if he's not the same player because of this injury, or he's in and out of the lineup because of this injury, then it was a bad deal for this franchise. It really was. I know they only gave up a 6th-round pick, but it's a bad deal because now it affects what the quarterback does as well.
49ers are going to re-sign Jeff Wilson, their running back, so he's going back to San Fran. Vanderbilt has lost an assistant coach because he's been named a head coach somewhere else. We'll tell you about that. Plus, we've got to get Villy to weigh in on what the Musketeers did, because they went savage on Vanderbilt after the 2-point win last night. We never got him to weigh in on what they did on Twitter. We'll do all that to close out Wednesday's edition of the DDC next.
The Titans have been making additions.
The Titans have signed Austin Hooper to a 1-year, $6 million contract.
And subtractions.
So Julio Jones shown the door. Surprise, not surprise.
I'm not surprised. As free agency is well underway, what's next for the two-tone blue?
You're going to have to make some cuts, and you're going to have to move some money around.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Folks, hope your bracket's doing well. Hope it's doing better than mine. Joe Rexrode here to let you know that FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guaranteed if you're going to get in on this tournament. That's right. You get $150 in bonus site credit. All you got to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet? The bracket, up to you. You got money line, totals, prop bets, whole bunch of possibilities. We're down to the Sweet 16. One of my favorite games coming up is Houston, Arizona. I think I like Houston on the money line. That'd be one of my legs. I'm not going to give any more because my bracket is so bad. Just know that with cash out, the ball's in your court. You can close out your bet whenever you want before a game is over. Join FanDuel today with promo code Joe102. Place your $5 bet. Score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. Again, that's promo code Joe102 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. For a online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Not warming up very much this afternoon. Highs topping out in only the upper 50s and lower 60s. Clouds and the breeze stick around.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Bank of England Mortgage has been helping Americans live the dream of home ownership for over 100 years, since their humble beginnings in England, Arkansas. They've gone from a community bank to a nationwide mortgage lender. BOE delivers innovative mortgage products with superior customer service and the most knowledgeable loan officers in Nashville. Find your nearest location in Middle Tennessee at BOE1214.com or call 615-823-1215. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and pay time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3...
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring these to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give 2 poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Daunic, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Almost, Jim. Smashville Live tonight, 6 o'clock hour, right here on these airwaves. Special guest, AJ Malesko. Cool, from ESPN. That'll be a fun show. 6 o'clock hour tonight with AJ. She's really fun. That'll be a good show. You can also watch that show on the game's Twitch, Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter. Smashville Live every week brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, and Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. Back here on the DDC, and it looks like Jerry Stackhouse, Coach Stack, has lost an assistant coach. Ed Conroy is going to be the new basketball coach at Citadel. And what's interesting about that is he's been Citadel's coach before, their head coach. He was Citadel's head coach, and then he got the job at Tulane, and he was the Tulane head coach, and then he was an assistant at Minnesota, and then spent the season this year at Vanderbilt as an assistant, but going back to Citadel to be their head coach. So congratulations to him.
Opportunity.
You don't see that very often,
What do you
right?
think about that, Billy?
Well, the running joke about Jerry Stackhouse staff is he's got plenty of them. He's got a big
That leaves
staff.
him 20 assistants now?
They've got a lot of people on staff. But it is interesting. I think having been over there a little bit more and gotten to know them, I think they really do a good job. I think Jerry Stackhouse, he really delegates to his assistants. So I'll be curious to see how he fills that role. Does he just do it from within, or is there somebody else that he brings in there? But it's always nice, I think, when you get somebody off your staff that gets hired as a head coach. I think that means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Was Xavier doing anything right last night on Twitter? Because they kind of went savage on Vanderbilt.
Okay, we're going to end where we started because Derek asked the question of the day.
Yes.
Can you throw shade when you're in the NIT?
You can't, Willie. You can't throw shade when you're in
We've been
NIT.
waiting 3 hours and 50 minutes to answer this question. Can you be a savage on Twitter during after an NIT game?
But tell people what they did for people that didn't see it. So Vanderbilt announced
it was
the new
short
logo
and sweet.
yesterday.
Yeah. It was short and sweet, just like AJ Brown's tweet. Said Xavier tweeted out should have kept the old logo, which they shifted the V to an L. So they had the new logo kind of tilted. They tilted it. Yeah. They tilted it to an L.
And they put it in the font of the new Vanderbilt logo, which, of course, just like every logo change or uniform announcement, everybody goes nuts. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. We tackled that yesterday. But, look, this is happening a lot on social media. There's a lot of teams, official teams, that have sort of put aside the let's stay always classy at all times, and they've gone for the let's be witty, let's push the boundaries a little bit let's jab the other team. Among the first teams to do it is where I am right now, right? Vegas, remember how Vegas came in as the new kid on the block, and their Twitter, they got really snarky.
Sure did.
Right? They were throwing shade left and right.
But you can understand
like, wait a minute,
from
you haven't been
that.
in this league. But it's so many more teams have sort of followed in those footsteps now. Like even Vanderbilt, if you take a look, like Vanderbilt got jabbed last night, but Vanderbilt was jabbing Tennessee in the football game. Remember, Tennessee beat them, but they threw some really funny jabs. You know, it's almost like the fraternity houses going back and forth.
But that's a long-standing battle between these two teams every year. So I can understand that. But Xavier, you're in the NIT. The NIT. That's like, you know, and now
they're in the Final Four.
It doesn't matter if they're in the Final Four of the NIT. I can be in the Final Four of the Rec League. That don't mean I'm going to start throwing shade at, I don't know, LeBron James. You know, my team's better than yours in the Rec League. Like, seriously? Dude, you're playing in the Rec League. I'm in the NBA. NBA, Rec League, two different things. NIT, big tournament. NIT, big tournament. Those are two different things, okay? Great they made it. They beat Vandy. But don't then throw shade at Vandy like you just, I mean, that's like, I don't know. That's like the second to last person throwing shade at the last person. Like, neither one of us won. Why you throwing shade at me? My goodness, I don't get that, man. Xavier, chill.
All right, we got to read this text because this cracks me up. This is going back to our Baker conversation. This is Wes in Clarksville, and it did make me laugh. So I think this is a pretty serious text, so I want you guys to weigh in on our text line from WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Wes asks, do you think that maybe they should get Baker here as the backup, as we were discussing earlier show, and let him do some TV commercials at Nissan Stadium? Maybe he could help with the renovation project.
It's not going to be a renovation, for one. It's going to be a tear down and a rebuild. But I would like to see having Baker as the stadium guy.
How about him living at the new stadium? How about him living at the new stadium?
That's a good text. That's a fun text.
Oh, man.
I
would watch the commercials.
I would watch.
Exactly. I love his commercials, man.
And he would have more time as serving as just the backup, right? People wouldn't get on to him about doing commercials because that's what people do when athletes do commercials. Like, maybe they should spend more time with their craft.
That is a part of his craft.
But nobody ever says that to Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and all the others, the great ones that do commercials. Yeah. It's the ones that struggle.
Yeah, I mean, Baker, keep doing your commercials.
By the way, Marcus didn't do any commercials here.
Exactly. So, I mean,
didn't help him.
It is what it is. Baker, keep doing your thing. Hold on. We won't see those commercials anymore.
I know. This is what we need a new line. What are we going to do now?
Gosh. Man, I hate that now. We won't see Baker doing those commercials anymore.
Nope.
Or we can just be walking to any stadium.
They go. By the way, Jared is going to react to the Tyreek Hill trade, the big massive trade that happened during our show today. He's going to start right out of the gates and tell you why this is a good thing for the Titans.
The salary cap doesn't matter. It doesn't matter though. How did the Chiefs not get it?
I remember him in Carolina.
The salary cap doesn't matter.
I mean, we were at Bridgestone and they walked in and I said the cap does matter. Look at Kansas City, both of them, Carolina and look at Kansas City. They're paying everybody. Well, they ain't paying Tyreek. He gone.
He gone.
I love you too, by the way. Caroline and Jared, I love both of y'all.
That's going to do it for our show today. Have a great rest of this beautiful Wednesday. Continue to be safe. We want you back with us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. We'll see you then.
From Goodlettsville to 12 South,
it could come down to the final possession.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. How can a half-carat diamond magically grow into a 2-carat diamond? With Genesis Diamond's 110% diamond upgrade guarantee.
Our trade-up policy is the best in the United States.
That's Stasha at Genesis, explaining how if you buy a diamond today and want to trade it in for a bigger one next year, Genesis always gives you back your original purchase price plus an extra 10%.
We will gladly give you every single penny you paid for the diamond plus an extra 10%, which is amazing. No one does that.
As a real-life example, take Stasha's customer Paul.
When he first started, he got a half carat, and then as he became more successful, we rewarded him. He came in and he got a 3/4 carat, and then he's traded for a carat. I'm sure I'll see him this year for a carat and a half. As they grow and change and become more successful, their engagement ring can grow with them also.
And there's no